Ready to have your mind blown insane fights, brain-melting twists, and drama that'll steal your heart in a flash? Smash that subscribe button on Manhwa T-Rex now. And hey, dive into today's recap video right this second. And don't forget to leave a comment below to share your thoughts or feedback. We'd love to hear from you. The story now begins in a seemingly quite ordinary city. Suddenly a boy appears, his body wrapped in a glowing blue light. Confused. He looks all around and then questions where exactly he is. At that very moment, a bus passes by, and he sees himself in the reflection now. Looking even more intensely confused now, he starts wondering deeply who he is, and what his name is really. Then he carefully begins to examine his own clothes, realizing quickly that he is wearing a military uniform. Looking up quickly, he notices that he doesn't recall his name at all, or what he was doing, or truly where he was earlier. Interrupting his troubled thoughts, the distinct sound of someone crying emerges. Without really thinking twice, the protagonist rushes forward, then ends up punching a nearby tree. The forceful punch is strong enough to break it right in half. Nervous now, he realizes he moves simply by pure instinct. Upon hearing that cracking sound, looking closely at his very hand, he is truly astonished because it possesses superhuman, incredible strength now. Once again, his deep thoughts are interrupted when someone urgently calls him Agent. The one who called him is actually, in fact, an AI from the auxiliary combat system now implanted deep within his own body. Seeking more answers now, the agent in question urgently asks where he is and what year it is now. In quick response, the AI states that, based on the protagonist's immediate peripheral vision, it seems they are now in the capital Seoul, and the year is indeed 2024. Then the AI further comments that in simple fact, he is actually a military model created way back in the year 2082. With his arms now crossed tightly, the young boy questions whether he actually came directly from the future and somehow ended up returning all the way to the distant past. Then the advanced AI states that according to its vast database, his critical memory was fully reset, and he has not recovered much information. Meanwhile, an elderly man is calmly and carefully driving his aging truck now. When he suddenly notices that the critical signal begins rapidly to fail, he suddenly fiercely brakes and starts wildly skidding right on the road. At this very moment now, the ever-alert AI issues a stark warning about the imminent risk of a traffic accident. Then it urgently orders the confused agent to quickly avoid the car now. However, the vehicle in question unfortunately ends up crashing hard, and a metal rod is violently launched straight toward the hero now. The AI warns him that a dangerous object is rapidly approaching now. Displaying truly immense agility here, the protagonist manages to just dodge it all with such ease. But sadly, the metal ends up hitting another person behind him there. Person starts screaming loudly in terrible pain, saying a metal stake is lodged firmly in their body now. At that very moment, the poor man collapses violently to the hard ground, his body trembling fiercely as people scream loudly for an ambulance. Then the system warns quickly that it's a wounded civilian indeed. Rubbing his eye now, the hero comments he saw red and blue screens there, and urgently asks what exactly they might be then now. The eye calmly explains it is just a visual projection here, from the helpful visual assistance service now, characterized clearly by strange floating screens always. At that moment our hero realizes now that thanks to all this, he was fortunately able to easily dodge it all now. But he urgently asks if an innocent civilian might die in just 5 minutes now. Nervous, he quickly comments that it's completely impossible to reach the busy emergency room in such time, and then asks if there is a real way here to truly save him now. Then the very air suggests he perform an emergency field surgery too. Next it reveals he himself can perform it here, as long as he truly knows the patient's condition well. Quickly now, the protagonist approaches near, saying he still has so many questions indeed. But first, they need to save the poor injured person now. Kneeling beside the man, he begins assessing his condition then. Nervous, he says the wound is so deep indeed, therefore, the surgery will be very difficult too. Then asks if the AI can really truly handle it. The AI explains it has identified all the necessary tools now, and that if there's a needle and thread here, small knife and disinfectant around, the surgery can certainly be performed then. A random man suddenly joins the conversation too, and asks the hero if he can provide some first aid now. Then he questions whether he can really help much. Without thinking even twice now, the protagonist explicitly states that he will need a needle now, thread, a knife, and some disinfectant. Of course, shortly after, several people quickly gather all the needed materials, while wondering aloud if that guy is truly a doctor, where they openly question exactly what he's trying to do indeed. And another person comments that he really doesn't look like a doctor. They also wonder nervously if he will get an infection and possibly die if he performs any surgery with just those materials available now. Hearing absolutely all this, the protagonist starts to sweat nervously. Then he whispers softly that the AI already has the proper tools and asks, what is it waiting for precisely, responding instantly. The AI states firmly that if the protagonist grants temporary control soon, he can smoothly move his hands completely on its own. Confused indeed, The hero thinks hard that he would really like to fully ask what that means now, but he quickly realizes that there truly is no time at all to waste here, so he simply agrees to fully allow it for now, surely. At that exact moment, his hands clearly begin to emit a bright blue glow, and rapidly start actively moving entirely on their own quickly. The eye now is able to move his hands with such great precision and true speed, starting now to feel truly confident. The hero thinks now that this surgery will truly be a great success. However, the system warns now that the loss of strawberry juice is way beyond the limit, and sadly that the survival rate is swiftly decreasing now. Nervous now, the boy wonders what that exactly means, asking the AI if it can indeed really save this particular person. However, sadly, it ends up simply not responding. Looking at his very own hand, he realizes it has stopped any moving. At that moment, truly, the person lying sadly on the ground seems to take their final breath. Sometime later now, the man is swiftly taken to the emergency room. One of those doctors asks the others if they are already finished, and inquires now about the overall patient's dire condition. Responding so, the skilled surgeon says clearly that he survived. Then, the doctor asks now if the actual injury wasn't truly as serious as imagined. Surprisingly enough, the surgeon states now that if the bleeding wasn't stopped firmly, the man would have sadly died even before leaving that ambulance. The man certainly lost quite a lot of the red juice indeed. But indeed, most of it had already been dealt with prior. She then explains that she sutured both externally and even internally, using ordinary thread, just the kind used simply for sewing. But the most shocking part was that the stitches were uniform now, almost as if they had been neatly made by a sewing machine. Hearing this crazy story, a doctor says that the man must be ridiculous, because he truly cannot believe it at all, interrupting this intense conversation. The man then arrives at the scene promptly. He introduces himself as the detective on this case named Park Kim-jong, and pointedly asks about the patient's precise condition. Responding quickly, the surgeon states that he is quite stable now. Then the real truth of the matter is that the surgery was actually performed in the street's middle. The detective confirms that this is indeed quite true now, which naturally surprises both doctors who are quite confused. He pointedly asks if this is something difficult indeed to do. The surgeon quickly responds that yes, it is. Not really the kind of surgery one can perform in the street. Then she curiously asks if by any chance maybe the person who performed the emergency surgery is some kind of master swordsman indeed. The other concerned doctor, worried now, asks what kind of medical needle was possibly used precisely. The detective calmly responds that he simply bent a needle from a sewing kit there. They anxiously ask where this mysterious person is right now then. The detective says that as soon as he just finished quickly, he quietly left the intense scene before the arriving ambulance's arrival. Meanwhile, elsewhere, in a public restroom now, the hero curiously comments to the AI that he thought it had given up then, but it calmly explains briefly that it was merely calculating the crucial next steps of the tense operation. Changing the subject abruptly, he then asked precisely why the AI suddenly lost its detailed memory indeed, and it simply responds that apparently its detailed memory was fully reset. Clearly confused and puzzled, the hero directly asked if it remembers its name then, and it replies calmly that no name has yet been defined precisely. At that, he readily says he will give it a name right now and asks what it now is. It instantly responds that it is an AI from the auxiliary combat system overall, implanted directly in his body just at that very moment here. The young boy then suggests naming it John Giant there, which further means combat air specifically. Then it is fully decided that this will indeed be its very name, but the surrounding air remains quiet and silent. Irritated greatly, the hero asks why it is actually not responding, and it then states that its name has been precisely defined as such. Just after this brief conversation, the boy now leaves the restroom, saying that was really fast too. Looking at his own shirt, he notices a clear emblem now. Then the AI informs him that it is fully the uniform of the Earth Union, specifically Special Military Operations. The protagonist now suggests that he was probably an agent of these forces who fully lost his memory. He comments to the AI that was created in 2082 here, and then asks why they are in the year 2024 also. But it responds that there is simply not enough information. It also explains clearly that it cannot retrieve such information from the internet fully, because the AI's data input is strictly restricted. To fully prevent the grave risk of hacking, it fully informs him that he receives data exclusively now, by importing vital information through his very 5 senses. And that, for example, if he eats something absolutely delicious, you'll have that same vivid experience then. It also explains that it requires clear permission for temporary control, and it can only assist specifically when combat is deemed necessary now. It also clearly warns that there is something it ultimately cannot do. Although it can indeed assist with various weapons, it simply cannot directly attack. Then the protagonist fully realizes that, to gather concrete information about what they're doing here, He needs to experience everything firsthand through his own body. Sometime later on, he is walking through the city streets, carefully looking to the side here. He notices that he can easily obtain a wealth of information at an internet cafe. He understands fully that this is common general knowledge, but the main problem is that they certainly need money to enter that place. Pulling out his now empty pocket, he states that he is completely broke indeed, and that at this moment, he needs to get exactly 10,000. He inquired of the AI if it could use his vocal cords for song. It responds, stating that it can if absolutely necessary on the field. With this thought in mind, the hero grants permission. And sometime later, they make their way towards a kind of vibrant park, all while holding a simple spoon. He then asked the AI if singing is truly necessary in battle, and a response came, stating that the skill indeed boosts morale greatly on the battlefield, exuding a bit of shyness. The boy asks why they need to sing in this place now, and then questions just how he will be able to compete with that band there. Responding, the AI explains that if he performs at a level higher than the band, truly, he will attract the attention of the people nearby. However, he states that he will only look like an utter idiot in this very place. But the AI ignores him and then announces that the show is just about to start now. Then they quickly drop a cardboard box onto the ground, specifically to collect money. At that precise moment, he prepares himself to start singing out loud. As he sings heartily, along with a spoon, several people end up having their complete attention drawn solely to him now, and someone even comments happily that this is indeed their favorite song ever. The hero strikes quite the perfect pose, just like a true idol, and questions whether all this is truly necessary now. But the AI says that actively engaging the audience is essential now. Suddenly, several people attending the band's live show realize quite clearly that there is another singer nearby, putting on a truly incredible vocal performance. Without really thinking twice, they all start quickly leaving the show. Meanwhile, our hero begins singing some kind of melodic song now. Many people start questioning just who the singer is here, and just how he can switch between deep and high notes like that. Everyone then notices that he's repeating the verse, and at that moment, the helpful AI informs him that the whole song was collected today, so sadly it doesn't have either the true beginning or the end. But in any event, they managed to fully collect the money they needed. Now with the money box firmly in hand, the brave protagonist tells the trusty AI that it was a good job, and that they both should leave quite quickly now. Now without really thinking twice, the hero starts running quickly away from the entire large crowd. Now from inside a quiet internet cafe, a blonde young girl watches him closely through the window, truly amazed by what she just witnessed now. She is presently in a second-hand bookstore, and is informed that the hot table indeed ordered ramen. So, blushing deeply, she's quickly on her way now. She then says she would like to hear more of that song soon. Meanwhile, the hero talks more about the chance to go to the internet cafe to thoroughly find information. The AI says that the top priority is to infiltrate the environment itself and smoothly blend in naturally there, since they urgently need to find a way to contact the command center again. With that clearly in mind, the protagonist directly heads toward the internet cafe now, and notices a hiring sign right on the door now, stating clearly that they indeed are hiring now. Amazed now, the hero says that he has finally found a way to do this now, and that they even generously provide food for all employees working there. At that, the AI promptly informs him that if he succeeds in infiltrating well, both the vital information gathering and the crucial food supply issue will already be quickly solved inside the building too. The hero then says that if they get the job soon, they can simply ask to stay there for a while, as they need a place to sleep now. The AI warns them that if they secure a place to stay, then food, clothing, and essential shelter will all be guaranteed indeed. Jarvis explains further that his military uniform has a camouflage feature now, and that by using a special memory fiber right here, it can easily take on quite a new appearance too. He mentions then that the clothing can be cleverly divided into multiple pieces, and can also be quite easily reassembled in different formats overall. Surprised, the hero says he will try to do that in just a few seconds indeed. He manages quickly to change his outfit quickly, but the final result actually turns out to be quite ridiculous here, making him look more like a poorly made Power Ranger clearly. At that, the young man says that this outfit looks like the one from the band there he saw just earlier, but the AI says absolutely nothing now. At that very moment, the protagonist immediately notices that several people are now starting to climb the stairs quickly. Everyone begins looking directly at the young man specifically, who is now standing right at the top of the stairs above, wearing a strange kind of Power Ranger outfit right there. His two companions are left completely shocked by this sight. They just walk past the young man completely, totally ignoring him it seems now. This really does seem like a very awkward situation here. Then the boy says that apparently the AI didn't like his outfit much, and the AI responds that yes, this is a clear possibility indeed. With little choice, he decides to try again presently. This time around, the attempt is more successful though, resulting in a normal outfit right now. Sometime later now, the protagonist finally enters the internet cafe. With his eye, The AI begins scanning the entire place fully. It informs him that 96% of the people present are currently playing online games, quite specifically. It also confirms that the convenience store has been checked well, along with the payment methods too. It informs him that the dining area has also been fully verified now, as well as the suitable spaces for temporary residents here. Jarvis states that this place is just perfect for their situation now. With arms crossed there, an older man asks the protagonist if he's applying for the job now. He asked if by any chance he has an ID and also a resume currently, but the protagonist simply replies that he doesn't have one. Crying out, the employee explains he can make the resume right there instead, and just bring his ID tomorrow then, truly, since they urgently need someone quite desperately at that very moment. The man begins judging the protagonist, it seems. He thinks that the boy certainly has a handsome face, but he looks like the type who can only probably make instant noodles, sadly. He asks the young man directly if he can use a frying pan now, saying that since he devours food greedily, he should at least know the basics of cooking, surely. Intervening swiftly, the AI comments that they do have military skills, tactical cooking skills specially designed for soldier management right now. Quickly indeed. The hero quickly responds that he can cook, and the employee gets wildly excited. Looking directly around then, the AI notices that the exact ingredients for fried rice are being identified swiftly. The young man asks her if she can in fact make fried rice at all, and she swiftly responds that she definitely can indeed. Then she immediately requests temporary control of his very own hands fully. Without a moment's hesitation, the protagonist grants permission now. Quickly, he now heads towards the kitchen and refrigerator too, in order to grab all of the key ingredients. With knife in hand, he says his body feels quite light, almost as if it really remembers how to do all this. Looking back, the employee is completely shocked by the incredible kitchen skills of this newcomer here, not truly understanding anything at all. The man thought he would simply heat up the frozen rice, but he realizes the boy is really cooking from scratch. Then he wonders just how he's doing it so quickly. A short time later, the boy hands over the new dish, announcing to him that it is now ready, and completely in utter shock, the man realizes that he couldn't see his hands even moving. The man now understands that being very fast is truly important, but only if it doesn't actually taste good. It's useless. So he assumes now that since the boy cooked so very fast, the food must be rather raw at this precise moment. He decides now to taste it, quite nervous. The hero now wonders if by any chance the food turned out bad somehow. After just truly tasting the dish, the man puts down the spoon, then exclaims he simply can't handle this delight. Completely now in love with the incredible food, he declares that this is but an internet cafe, and that the boy truly should bring a soy drink here too, giving him such a pat on the back there. He says that for just a moment, he felt like he was in his favorite bar then. At that moment, the blonde girl suddenly appears, calling him uncle, introducing her properly now. The man says that this truly is his niece, Shaw then, and that she also actually works there, so they should both get along well. Blushing slightly, the girl now realizes the protagonist truly is the same one, who is singing right outside, in shock now. The hero then asks how she figured that detail out now. Surprised quite a bit, she asks why he wants to work here with a voice just like that one, and he replies he's good at singing, and also some other things you see. Amazed truly. The man says he's happy having the young man there and comments that his own niece can't even properly make instant noodles, being a total and utter disaster there in the kitchen itself. Smiling gently, the man asks now if the boy has a preferred work schedule. Responding promptly, the young man softly says he truly prefers indeed to work just part-time, and would surely like to work only at specific and set times, with a very flexible schedule itself. He also clearly says that he noticed earlier that there is a storage area, and politely asks if he could stay there temporarily whilst actually working. Suspicious now, the man realizes that these conditions are truly quite demanding, but also keenly that the talented boy is simply too talented to simply pass up. The owner here was quite envious of his competitor, so he subtly thinks of using this good opportunity to build his own grand reputation for good food. He readily says that the boy can absolutely sleep there, have completely free meals, and even now earn double the basic salary, if he keenly manages to surely sell more food than usual at all. Suddenly now, two brand new customers then enter, and the young girl says she surely wants to eat before playing. However though, a smart boy with glasses quietly explains that internet cafes also definitely serve food too. Still, she firmly insists that internet cafe food is truly terrible. With his eyes intently locked on the prize money, the protagonist states clearly that they should try the fresh food first, before making any judgment on whether it is good or truly bad. A short while later, the hero is diligently cooking away, while the employees watch on in total amazement at his determination. Then he kindly asks the blonde girl to quickly bring him a plate, surprised somewhat that it is already fully ready. She asks just how he made it look so perfectly quickly indeed. Right at that key moment, the owner now tells his own niece to take the tasty food to those customers immediately. Meanwhile, indeed, one of the waiting customers comments that the newcomer was quite very bold, She keenly wonders just how good internet cafe food can really even be, and flatly says that this whole thing is totally quite ridiculous. Then the boy wearing glasses tells her simply to just order it. Taste it quickly and then leave so fast. The girl happily arrives with the fresh food, announcing clearly that it is totally ready now, which immediately surprises them both quite thoroughly. Seeing the food up close, they are totally shocked by its unique appearance. Quite nervously, the boy comments that he only actually ordered fried rice, and amazed, the girl tells him that's exactly what he indeed ordered. So we should try to enjoy it, although they're a bit hesitant here. The red-haired girl confidently says they truly should try it now. Then each of them carefully takes just a spoonful indeed, and as soon as they put that spoonful into their mouths, both are in utter shock, having a strange sensation from another world. It deeply feels as if the incredible taste is just so magnificent now, that they are instantly transported far back into the past now. Crying slightly, they intently stare at each other now, and realize that this is the very same flavor they once tasted a long time ago. They start excitedly shouting, saying that this is incredibly delicious here, and also that this place definitely has clearly the best fried rice in our neighborhood. Right upon hearing this heartfelt testimony, several curious customers then become quite curious, and also order some fried rice themselves just to try it out. The niece quickly then enters the busy kitchen, and excitedly announces that they received 12 orders all at once, leaving her uncle utterly and completely shocked now, looking intently at the protagonist right there. He asks now if they truly can handle all of the orders coming in, looking off quickly to the side right now. The boy then asks the AI if it surely can make 12 more dishes like that one, responding quickly. She says yes indeed, and that tactical field cooking, yes, also works for large quantities too, with a kitchen knife firmly held in hand now. The boy tells his Jarvis then that this is truly amazing though, and that he surely will give it complete control now, instructing it now to prepare 15 generous meals for everyone. 3 hours pass quickly, the internet cafe with eyes shining much for money. The man then asks urgently for the boy's real name indeed. He informs him that food sales have just increased incredibly now, in just 3 short hours, and that he will now receive double pay each week. Insistently now, the man asks again for the young man's real name now. Hesitantly then, he responds slowly that his name is Ne Kang in really. The owner then confirms briefly that everything is fully settled then, and that he also will arrange a storage room just for him surely. Meanwhile, suddenly, the niece collapses hard on the floor then, declaring then that the leftover fried rice was quite delicious. Right at that moment, the eye asked the protagonist if he remembered his full name, and our hero simply says no indeed, that he just improvised his name sometime later then. The owner mentions now that there are surely more orders, and asks Jarvis directly if he can handle them all. He quickly replies then that he certainly can. Kang says now that they have secured a very safe place to stay, but in order to receive payment there, he needs an identity, and asks now if Yaya can hack the system. Responding swiftly, she says yes, definitely, and adding that systems from the 21st century now, up to the year 2082 can be hacked with all her abilities, with mischief clearly in his eyes now. Our hero asks if she can also then hack a bank, but Yaya responds quickly that is utterly impossible. Crossing his arms firmly, the protagonist says he shouldn't have had quite so much hope as expected. Then he asks the AI promptly if it can forge a new identity, and she simply responds then that she surely can, but she truly needs control of his own hands. Without much hesitation, the young man grants permission now. The advanced AI informs him that the Korean government database itself has been indeed successfully hacked just now, and that they are currently searching for information similar to these boys indeed. But she also informs him that he really needs to keep his eyes open wide, to carefully collect more visual information closely. Looking quite carefully at the central screen, the hero quickly notices something extremely strange. It was reported quickly that an unknown program had been detected there, and that the boy's private information has already been registered now. With his own fingerprints perfectly matching, Kane questions just how this could be truly possible, considering he's from the Earth Federation's Special Forces in 2082 now, and also that the AI itself was created in that far era. He wonders then if by some chance the Earth Federation exists in 2024 too. And right at that very moment, the AI there begins verifying more information about the most influential countries now. He's then informed clearly that there is no Earth Federation in this year indeed. Quite nervous, the young man asks then if this means that they truly exist simultaneously, in both 2024 right now and also further in 2082. However, Yaya states that there is not quite enough information now to determine that. Feeling notably uneasy, the protagonist asks now to check personal information, as there surely must be some truly important clue there now. His AI then promptly initiates a search for more pertinent information. Yaya discovers indeed that he is currently considered quite unemployed, which immediately irritates him. His Jarvis then informs him now that the niece is approaching. Indeed, the blonde girl then comments that the boy types so incredibly fast. Curious now, She asks directly if he can develop complex programs, and sharply snapping at her. The boy asks if it truly isn't rude now to spy on other people's screens. After politely apologizing, the girl says that her uncle gave her a card to seemingly go to the mall with him, and that he wishes them to go together sometime later indeed. Both of them are out indeed on the street in what seems just like a date. Still truly impressed, she comments that Mr. Kang picks out items really fast. While he simply thinks that he was merely following explicit orders, the blonde girl says it seems that he carries those heaviest ingredients now with such ease. And the boy quickly responds that those ingredients are light here, completely and utterly smitten with our protagonist truly. She starts squeezing both his strong arms, saying they feel like solid steel. Right at that moment, Chad asks if he might want to stop by a cafe first then, to which the protagonist just comments that this is truly the boss's card. However, the girl quickly responds that he shouldn't even worry, as she knows her uncle. Suddenly and accidentally, she bumps right into a stern man now, who sharply tells her to watch just where she's going now. With quite a murderous look indeed, he warns her to pay close attention, or she doesn't want to die right now here. Right at that moment, the protagonist already quickly realizes that this is someone quite dangerous indeed, and the AI sharply warns that a hostile target has now been detected here. And it asks the protagonist if he would like to switch over to combat mode then. Crying desperately there, the girl starts quickly apologizing here. The AI warns the girl that she should truly be more careful from now on here, while one of the companions then tells his friend that he scared that poor girl. Smiling now, he comments that his brother lost quite a lot today, and is in a bad mood. But everything will surely be fine. Seeing the men now walking away, the AI notifies them that the target is currently moving away, and that the security state has immediately been restored now. Sometime later, they both head to the internet cafe soon, and the girl says she feels a little scared now and she started crying then. Her uncle is quite concerned, approaches her and asks exactly why she is not answering her phone, commenting that it's an emergency indeed. He explains clearly that the internet suddenly went down earlier. Everyone is going absolutely crazy and they called the provider now, but they won't arrive for another hour yet. At that very moment, the boy asks the AI there if there is actually any chance they were tracked by some hacker, but she responds firmly that there is actually not. Even so, the young man comments that they really should check, just in case at all. Then he asks the boss exactly where the server really is. Smiling confidently, he announces he's going to fix this problem quickly. Sometime later, the AI reports that indeed there is nothing indicating that their activities were actually tracked truly, but rather that it did find a hacking attempt. Surprised, the hero then asks precisely why, since this place is just an ordinary internet cafe here. The AI says clearly that an information stealing program was installed within, and therefore, the conflict between that program and the security program there caused the sudden internet to crash then. Nervous, the boy simply asks Jarvis now to find out who the real hacker truly is here. Quickly, the hacker's precise location is identified, along with exactly 7 servers in total. 6 servers nearby and 1 server abroad now. Then the brave hero questions now why they chose such a close location, and truly if they needed to be physically there in person to install this program precisely. He wonders now if it was those same guys they saw earlier today, but his deep thoughts are quite suddenly interrupted by someone nearby now, complaining bitterly now about the blasted internet problems. Nervous, she tells the upset customer quickly that she will give him extra game time then, and clearly he says that's the least they truly can do since he almost actually won, seeing plainly that the customers are generally quite upset now. The thoughtful hero asked the AI for a good recommendation, and she then suggests offering them some food. Already in the kitchen, a list of popular gaming snacks appears now, for the main protagonist to simply choose from easily. At that exact same time, his coworker is crying whilst apologizing. Right at this important moment, the hero approaches him, apologizing sincerely for the inconvenience caused to him. Smiling gently, he informs them that the server is stabilized now, so the internet connection won't go down anymore, and then mentions that this delicious snack is totally on the house. Deeply irritated now, the customer says he will try a bite, but if it's no good, he won't let this slide as he was so inconvenienced. Without a single hesitation, the man quickly takes a good bite. At that very moment, his brain experiences a true epiphany due to flavor. Both the thoughtful hero and his coworker anxiously await his reaction now, completely changing his rude tone suddenly. The pleased man exclaims that this snack is incredibly good, that he suddenly feels motivated to truly climb up the game rankings. Returning quickly to his game now, he thanks them nicely for the food. The confused girl asks him how he did all that, and what if, by chance, he sprinkled some magic powder on these snacks, as they are so very good, completely calming every customer right down. Curious indeed. This blonde girl decides to try some herself right now, to see just how good this food truly really is. You see, in just mere seconds now, Her expression suddenly changes, completely amazed now by the incredible flavor itself. She comments that it's a little bit spicy, but also sweet and savory, and questions just how he made this, as it's absolutely incredible at this very moment now. The hero then says he needs to leave due to the internet issue, and that she truly should share these snacks with other customers there. Blushing now, and completely captivated by our protagonist here. The girl then says that if there were a hero in this modern world, it should definitely be someone just like him. Indeed. Out on the busy street now, the AI then informs them they urgently need to eliminate the enemy now, who directly attacked their base. Then the navigation module is activated. The AI begins scanning quickly, and reports that there are no external guards visible, or any tactical detection equipment here. Determined now to find the elusive hacker, the protagonist states they are trying hard to stay quite hidden. Without any hesitation, he starts infiltrating the very building. Hiding. He whispers now that he can faintly hear something from there. And then the advanced AI begins amplifying the sound in real time. The sophisticated AI extracts the audio now. It removes noise effectively and enhances sound quality greatly, amplifying greatly the voice he is listening intently to. In a hushed conversation, one of them says it's just a test version, and the other chillingly responds that if he does a great job, he will be handsomely paid so he can finally move out of his house. Stammering slightly now, one of them says he clearly didn't know it was this very kind of job, and politely now he asks to leave quickly. At that tense moment, the AI informs that based on voice analysis, he is likely just a civilian student who is currently being threatened. It also strongly says that they need to rescue the terrified civilian and get him safely out of this dangerous place very quickly. The determined hero kicks down the door and bursts right into the room. The poor student in question is utterly terrified upon suddenly seeing this, crying desperately. He now thinks that even more thugs are coming for him. One of the men asks now if the door was locked, and the other stammers out, confirming that it was, while exuding a terrifying, murderous aura now. The bald man then questions just how this intruder managed to get in here. Without any hesitation now, the protagonist charges directly forward and delivers a powerful, swift punch to one of the henchmen's face there. The punch is surely strong enough to knock him out cold on the floor now. Telling his gripping story, the student says his true name aloud. Seong is indeed a first-year student attending Korea University now. He has been so interested in hacking computers since he was very young, even as just a novice. Professionals often asked him questions directly, and he soon became quite a talented ethical hacker himself. He was actively looking for a job due to his pressing student loan, and ultimately ended up receiving a recruitment message instead. It was supposedly for a crucial security check itself. That would take around 3 to 4 days total, but the payment was equivalent to a full month's standard salary. He was very excited to finally get a job in a field he excelled at. However, then in the end, it was just a scam. Sadly, as it wasn't a legitimate or legal operation. Back to the present now. He thought about all things he hadn't done just yet, and deeply believed it was truly all over now for him indeed. That's when a true hero suddenly appeared before him now. Meanwhile here, the AI keenly informs the protagonist that this is his infiltration mission objective, and that he fully must eliminate all enemies who interfere with the mission. However, the protagonist is clearly still very impressed with his great strength, realizing just now that he knocked out a truly giant guy with only one punch. Just then, at that crucial moment, the AI clearly warns him to be careful now, because the enemies right in front of him are armed and quite dangerous. A nervous Kang asks the AI hesitantly if he shouldn't be more afraid, and she responds calmly that as a highly trained special agent he is. His very own body is indeed highly trained, and ready. Pointing his finger confidently, the hero then explains himself, that he heard someone getting badly beaten up in the hallway nearby, so he decided to quickly step in, boldly calling them stupid octopuses. Furious now, the thugs question loudly if he really just called them octopuses. At that instant, the system immediately warns that the boy provoked them without offering a deal first, which will only intensify their growing hostility quickly. As quite expected, one of the men grabs a sharp knife and charges at the hero head-on. Determined now, the boy calmly comments that he can easily win physically, of course, so he should likely focus a bit more on potent mental attacks here. One of the henchmen questions just what this crazy guy is talking about exactly, but he is soon quickly silenced by a powerful kick right to the mouth there. The swift kick is so intensely strong that it sends him crashing hard into the ceiling. The visibly bald man then becomes completely enraged indeed now, and loudly calls him a truly crazy bastard directly. Displaying such immense agility now, the protagonist swiftly manages to knock him right out, with just a single powerful kick to the head. Amazed by his own fluid movements here, the hero truly realizes just how powerful his kicks really are. While discussing with Jarvis whether or not steroids enhance true strength, the student now watches him from quite a distance. With his entire body trembling and completely filled with fear, he realizes now that this odd guy, who is constantly mumbling to himself just like an old man, has been strangely doing so for quite some time now. Terrified now, he wonders if the man is a cop communicating secretly via radio, or a government secret agent sent here to capture hackers soon. He understands fully that no matter just how innocent he seems, if they ever look deeply into his troubling past, they surely will see that he has hacked countless times though. Completely terrified indeed. He starts screaming loudly now, insisting strongly that he truly did nothing wrong here, falling sadly to his shaking knees. He then explains that he simply just did what he was told earlier and desperately begs to be fully let go. The AI comments that there's a high 90% chance he's truthful now, as he is most likely indeed an ethical hacker himself. It explains that it has the innate ability to analyze facial expressions and complex behaviors of all captured prisoners here to accurately determine their overall credibility. It states the thorough analysis indicates a 90% probability now that in reality he is truly telling the honest truth, leading the main protagonist to fully understand that there's still a small 10% chance he could be lying still. At that tense moment, she then begins questioning the young boy. He responds he was tricked fully by a part-time job offer as a simple security checker and has been trapped for 3 long days. He comments that these bad guys are truly bad even after that mere job. They continued doing more shady things indeed now. Curious now. The hero asks what kind of shitty things he speaks about, and the young hacker fully responds that it is financial manipulation. Impressed by this, the protagonist comments that they seem way too dumb for such a scheme, but the hacker then explains they want a stock manipulation program. Form comments. So they promptly went to a nearby internet cafe indeed to install it. Then the hero swiftly realizes that it was at that exact moment when the girl suddenly bumped right into one of them there. Carefully thinking it through right now, the young man now says that someone is probably after them closely, since these guys must certainly have been hired quickly. Annoyed, he then states that he simply can't just let them go free, and that he certainly needs to deal with whoever is truly behind them now. With that, he firmly tells the hacker to call the police promptly, say that he was kidnapped and simply just explain exactly what happened calmly. When they finally arrive, quite nervous now, the worried student calls the hero quite fast. An old man then asks if he's willingly going to get himself into trouble at all, which truly irritates him, smiling rather slyly. The hero directly asks the hacker if he happens to clearly know his face there, and the hacker simply says no because he's indeed wearing a full mask firmly. Explaining this, the protagonist now says that he was just someone simply passing by closely, and that when he suddenly heard him getting quite beaten intensely, he boldly decided to step right in then without a second thought either. He slowly turns right around and awkwardly says he's just leaving now. The hacker says that he actually has something to ask the student. He questions if he can beat these guys up just a little too, saying he just wants to ensure that if they wake up later, the man will indeed protect him, however possible. Ken simply responds that they won't wake up so easily, and tells him to go ahead and take them down now with confidence, which truly excites him. Now charging forward eagerly, the student calls the bald man a real bastard now, and decides to punch him hard right in the face, surely. However, unexpectedly, the man ends up waking up fast, scaring both of them quite some time later indeed. The police arrive promptly at the scene there. Approaching the men, they realize they took a severe beating hard. The officer then asks the young man, "What just happened here?" The boy explains that those guys held him captive then for 3 days, forcing him to create a stock market manipulation program. Quite suspicious. The officer asks in disbelief, "How did they end up just like this?" The hacker explains calmly that it wasn't actually him, but rather a man who was simply passing by, and helped him greatly. One of the detectives comments then that these guys alone wouldn't be able to manipulate any stock prices, and that there's probably someone else behind it all. The other detective adds that when these guys wake up in the hospital soon, they need to be interrogated immediately. A big surprise, of course. One officer inquires who beat them up quite like that, and the other says the victim claimed it was just a passerby indeed. Another officer comments they only have a few broken bones here, but they didn't die yet, and besides all, they were indeed the ones who pulled the knife first, obviously. At that moment precisely, one of the officers says then, they need to promptly secure the security system footage immediately, and find out precisely who was fully responsible for this attack. He clearly states that in any case now, this is too big of a case here to let go without further investigation. Meanwhile, our hero asks the helpful AI now if she is truly sure there was absolutely no security camera system there, and she firmly confirms that there wasn't any at all. The hero calmly comments then that he didn't quite expect them to get up so quickly later, and the AI fully explains that it was just a mere instinctive reflex here. Now, changing the subject entirely, the protagonist asks now if the AI doesn't have a phone function built in, and she simply responds that she doesn't have anything like exactly that. Right at that very moment, the hero decides to buy a phone device, but since alas he is broke, he will need a payment plan for sure. 3 long days pass swiftly since the incident occurred, a day right after rescuing the hacker himself. The hero went promptly to the registered address then, to gather some more crucial information about his true identity. However, upon his swift arrival there, he realizes keenly that it was just an empty burned-down field only. Looking intensely at the vast sky, he starts wondering deeply who he is, and what he was doing then in that place. He questions keenly whether he was really communicating onward with the future too, or if instead he is someone from the future. coming back to the past even. He understands deeply that in the end now, only unanswered questions still remained indeed, and he had certainly no choice but to return empty-handed now. The calm internet cafe eventually regained its true peace once more, and overall business prospered increasingly even more now too. Indeed, according to the blonde girl, all thanks to a certain influencer now, the internet cafe has truly become a must-visit spot now. The special dish is only served when he is there indeed, and he doesn't eat the special dish when actively gathering information. Regardless of whether the hero is at the cafe presently or not, the place still remains packed with customers currently. Indeed, some people come specifically just for the food truly, but most of them stay and use the cafe for at least 1 or 2 long hours. Judging closely by the owner's weary face, it's quite clear that he had to hire more part-time workers now, as the overall number of customers greatly increased now. One day, quite soon, a new part-time worker is introduced at the busy internet cafe. He instantly catches the protagonist's keen attention now. It is the hacker Shang, recently rescued from captivity 3 long days ago. The young boy tells the kind owner there that he has been very good with all computers for a long time indeed, and that if they ever break, he can easily fix them for him. After saying that, the newcomer bows respectfully to the 2 more experienced employees currently, saying he's truly looking forward to working closely with them very soon. Nervous, he fully realizes that he applied here to work at this place, all because he deeply felt guilty inside. Since he caused a lot of damage to this establishment now, he decided now to work hard with a heart full of true remorse. Soon after that, the owner introduces Kang now, saying that he was precisely the one who turned the cafe quite famous, and Kang is currently working now as the head chef presently. The owner also adds that besides that point, Kang is also incredibly good with computers, so they both should get along pretty well overall. At this moment, the hacker realizes exactly who Kang is, quite excited. He asks the hero if he is older than him, and the hero confirms it all. Extending his own hand now, he smiles somewhat in relief there, thinking now that the hacker did not fully recognize him now. However, the AI comments working with the person rescued is a major risk here, and the AI recommends telling the owner now to fire him soon. But Kang just simply ignores this recommendation at this time. Sometime later now, the hero is out on the street doing shopping there. He comments to the open air that by all the looks of it now, she truly is very meticulous about both money and also food. He states that managing money well and detecting dangers are useful skills, but then asks if true joy isn't just enjoying some good food instead. Suddenly then, his Jarvis emits an urgent alert, warning that a fire hazard has been detected now. However, the protagonist looks around carefully and sees absolutely no fire. Suspicious now, he questions whether the AI is merely malfunctioning then. To deftly change the subject, she just responds that she is certainly not. Right at that intense moment, the hero calls her a liar bluntly, but immediately after, an explosion violently occurs in the nearby building now. Several people start panicking quickly and calling desperately for some help. Looking very calmly, the protagonist questions whether this fire now is real. Analyzing the intense situation now, he realizes his body is equipped with this AI specifically for combat support. Additionally, his very own eyes have augmented reality technology as well. His ears also possess auxiliary modes indeed. And last but not least, his legs have quickly become increasingly stronger now. Confident, he drops his backpack heavily onto the ground there, and declares that a raging fire like this one can be put out quickly by him. Right at that very moment then, he now prepares to launch some kind of major attack to extinguish the fire. However, he ends up just striking quite an embarrassing pose there. Seeing this very action, the eye itself asks if the agent is actually going crazy. A fire like this wild one could defeat him instantly. While saying all this aloud, Kang starts gesturing wildly with his own hands. He extends now his hand and calls for the full suppression fire now. However, sadly nothing happens at all. The system abruptly asks if he is indeed out of his mind too. Disappointed greatly, the young man says he doesn't possess freezing rays, and the AI further asks if he would even still be really human if he did. Then he immediately asks what would be the ultimate best way to put out the fire now. The AI calmly advises just calling the actual fire department quickly, and the young man laments simply not being able to really do anything. Right at that moment, he hears someone desperately screaming loudly for help at the very top of the blazing, burning building now. A young girl is indeed crying out so loudly for help now, while the worried people all around just watch and worry now. Kang urgently asked the complex system to calculate now the estimated precise time of arrival now for the proper firefighters, and it sharply responds that it will indeed be 4 full minutes now. By then, the fierce flames would likely fully reach the rooftop now, and there was a daunting 99% chance that everyone inside would die then. The brave young man puts on his mask quickly and asks the system directly to find a safer entry route. Sadly, there were absolutely no available clear paths inside the burning building. But fortunately, The system quickly found a route that avoided the deadly toxic gas itself, so he bravely climbs up cautiously from the outside then. The people who see him indeed begin speculating intently about why he is truly there now. Looking straight up now, he asked the system quickly to check urgently for survivors on all the other floors. There was sadly no movement seen inside the massive building then, as most people likely evacuated quickly right after the initial explosion indeed. With this vital information, the skilled agent begins climbing carefully through the windows then. On the ground, a worried child asks innocently if the young man up there is Spider-Man now, while another quickly wonders aloud how that is even realistically possible anyway. Right as he approaches a window carefully, the quick system emits a loud urgent alert, clearly detecting an imminent explosion risk now. The agile agent leaps swiftly between the open windows, just barely in time to avoid being tragically caught within it. Khan now clings desperately to a window, trembling slightly, saying aloud that his incredible grip strength literally saved him there. His internal system tells him he should be thanking it for this warning now. Right after that, the young man quickly reaches the rooftops and moves toward the terrace edge. Upon arrival there, he sees the girl kneeling low. She's looking at him intently with fresh tears in her eyes. In front of her, the agent deliberately extends his open hand. Still on her knees weakly, she starts calling him her savior now. Just behind them, a huge explosion dramatically erupts, and the internal system warns urgently that the raging fire is spreading rapidly. The young man urgently asks if they are just going to die right there. Utterly terrified, the girl immediately begs him to save her quickly. He calmly responds that he is carefully calculating things. He then asks if nothing bad would happen if he jumped to the next building over. However, there were indeed too many prying witnesses nearby. If his special abilities were revealed now, his true identity as an agent could be instantly questioned. Eventually, it would ultimately become difficult for him to fully adapt to this new place. Kane notices a thin cloth is hanging in line right in front of him. He urgently asks if he could potentially use it to safely get down, but the girl sadly says she wouldn't be able to at all. The system states explicitly that all directions are blocked by fire and are highly unsafe. But the young man breaks the cloth line here, saying directly that this might just be a very bad idea now. Pulling the rope tightly, he then says they will tie it firmly to the next building as a tightrope then, sending the frightened girl into a fresh panic now. The terrified girl asks just how they would walk on this rope now, and the young man asks the system for vital help in maintaining balance now. Once the ropes are properly tied, the system will surely assist them, and the young man asks if it couldn't fully control the initial throw. Throwing actions were judged similar to an attack scenario, so it simply couldn't, he says. The AI essentially could cook, but pointedly wouldn't assist actively in any combat actions. The cold system confirms clearly that this is indeed correct, and adds that he would indeed have to do it all himself. The agent exclaims that the AI here is seriously annoying him. With the rope ready now, he asks for true help, preparing to throw it far. The taut rope stretches fully, and then hooks perfectly onto a secure ladder on the neighboring building. Kang tells her firmly to go now, but the girl is still nervously refusing it. He suddenly picks her up, and she starts shouting she will fall quickly. He firmly tells her to be quiet now on the ground. People quickly start commenting about the young man now crossing the rope. Midway through, the girl starts calling for her mother frantically. The agent sternly tells her to just stay still right now. He asks then if they will be fine at the current speed, and the system quickly confirms that yes, they will be just fine. However, unexpectedly, a serious situation occurs suddenly. The rope is unfortunately breaking far faster than anticipated. Frightened now, he urgently asks how much time they now have left, but sadly, the rope will snap before they even reach the other side. His full attention shifts now quickly to the rope, which is fraying indeed more and even more severely. With that, both of them suddenly begin now to fall. In a quick, decisive motion, the agent throws the girl toward the building. She lands safely on the rooftop almost at the exact instant. The rope snaps suddenly. He begins falling and then panics fully. As he falls quickly, he starts now calculating the terrifying distance. He urgently wonders now what he should quickly do, then instantly grabs onto the rope still hooked to the ladder firmly. He uses it as pure momentum to propel himself up onto the terrace now. The skilled agent manages to stabilize himself and deftly runs along the wall. People watching start commenting once more on the intense situation now. With a leap, he ultimately reaches the rooftop at last. Kang looks scared and is sweating profusely now. Thinks that he was truly done for climbing those stairs to the rooftop. He asks the terrified girl if she's okay there. She then looks at him in utter shock indeed, screaming out loud that he is a ghost apparition. He tells her he is quite alive while descending those stairs quickly. The startled girl asks if he is possibly a superhuman now, and the young man just says he is something exactly like that. The girl asks if he knows her, speaking informally right with her there. He says she truly looks young, and she asks if he is perhaps her fan then. He responds that the flawed system has made many terrible mistakes here, and that he fully trusted in it completely, because it falsely claimed to be part of strategic special forces ultimately. Jane quietly says she honestly didn't know. They used flammable materials upon the exterior of the old building here, And the keen agent asks if saying she didn't know would truly solve everything. As they argue now, the girl truly catches his keen attention. She asks him directly if he is indeed the internet cafe owner. Kang is quite surprised, even wondering how the girl knew so quickly. Firefighters then begin putting out the intense building fire now. Someone recorded the courageous agent's actions and posted them online. The men begin to speculate more about the revealing video then, and one of them asks aloud how he carried the person across that rope. Park comments calmly that the mysterious guy might be a climber, or perhaps even a tightrope specialist. Definitely a possibility, but he frankly has simply no idea who this person truly is. The only single clue they have now is a mere plastic bag. To bravely save someone, one must surely use both hands and feet. And if they were still holding a plastic bag tight then, they surely would have left it indeed on the cold ground. One man asks now if the tightrope master left it all behind there, and the perceptive detective says that's truly the only strong possibility. Inside the plastic bag, there are only common cooking sauces and a wet, torn receipt, quite difficult to properly read and decipher too. One of them then asks if they should carefully check the store's security cameras, and another quickly says no, firmly since he isn't a true criminal. Right at that very moment, his phone suddenly starts ringing. He answers and asks just why the team leader was so intrigued by his statement then. The leader says that his much-needed vacation is currently being interrupted now, specifically because they now have a very big problem. They simply don't even know how the initial fire started, see? But there are other grave issues at hand. A death was sadly reported on the 3rd floor, it seems. The men limited their thinking. There were absolutely no victims there. Gijong says they will start this very search by looking for the tightrope master soon. They are leaving the burning building then. The poor girl says she honestly feels much better after really taking a warm shower now. And the young man asks then if she isn't perhaps embarrassed to now ask him for that. With very teary eyes, she softly says her house just burned completely down. She explains she is completely alone now, and she simply has no parents left, leaving the young man quite incredulous there. She solemnly says she really is utterly alone now. She took out a student loan for college studies and was also thinking about working too. She begins lamenting, asking just how she will actually survive in life, and the young man earnestly tells her to simply get a job, just like she clearly said she would. She urgently asks just how she reasonably could do that at all. Kang quietly turns to leave just now, and the girl asked Kang to help her get a job at their cafe now. She was grabbing his shirt gently. Then, she asks if she could join, and the agent tells her to talk to the boss, as Kang is just part of the entire team. Then she happily says they should go together to submit her resume too, and the young man finally gives in then. He asks the girl how she recognized him back at the cafe before, and she sweetly says that she actually goes there all the time then. She was a popular and beautiful streamer indeed. Since she didn't have internet access at her home, she often used the cafe in the daytime. The agent asks if she is beautiful, and she asks if he doesn't think so too. He asks if she is good at games, and she honestly replies that she's not so good. He asks how many subscribers she has now, and she answers just 30. After clearly hearing her frank answers, the young man now decides to go with her to submit the resumes together. Both of them soon arrived at the cafe itself. Anseo immediately asked why he was late even before he could answer. Orim interrupts excitedly, saying that she will be a full part of the team too. But the young man simply says, not quite yet. She then asked for spices he originally went to buy, right? And he replies that he lost them while checking on the fire now. Chella laughs, saying that someone must have already taken them now, and he asked for that cost to be deducted directly from his salary. Precisely at that very moment, the system calls him promptly. It states now that based on his field of vision analysis, it is quite possible that some individuals recorded the entire incident. They needed then to search the internet and collect all information, so he now leaves while a new employee introduces herself fully. The system swiftly finds a photo captured of the very scene, a photo which has, notably, already been viewed many, many times. Judging only by reactions, it's spreading very quickly online now. Kang asks if in fact he could delete those videos from the internet. Jane plainly says she really does not have true hacking skills. She explains she is just merely a combat support AI. He quickly says the system notably has hacked before then, but it replies that it was merely only identity manipulation. Kang quickly says that is quite useless, and his sister simply responds that it has military defense capabilities, but sadly cannot use them still. The young man asks Jean if he could erase the footage right now, and Jean clearly says yes. At that tense moment, a detective arrives at this cafe, saying clearly that there is a tightrope master around. The system states it has found no information at all about the Earth Alliance, or the Strategic Special Forces unit ever. Lying still on his bed now, the young man suggests there could be someone fully connected to the year 2082 here, and the system responds calmly that they might be in deep hiding. It states now that it has verified several claims about people indeed coming from the future, but sadly, none of those claims were credible. Kang clearly states that they are in 2024, but then the system calmly replies that his very existence cannot be explained by the current technology of this particular year. He then says that no matter how he truly looks at it, it is now 2024, then asks what exactly happened in the building. Looking closely at the news, He sees that a person was sadly found dead at the scene. The young man softly says that this is all his fault, but Jane quickly responds that it is not, as the person was indeed in the room. They then pass through swiftly to climb the imposing wall, and the agent keenly asks why they didn't spot them at all. The system explains that air lenses are augmented reality devices only, not specifically infrared, and the agent sharply calls it quite clumsy. There truly was no one in the silent room. No single sign of movement, no sounds of life, or any noise detected now. Kang intently asks if the person was already tragically dead, if it was truly not an accident, but a premeditated murder most foul, and comments grimly that there is a high probability he is right actually. While they are intently talking, they hear distinct voices just outside. The police are now discussing purchases made with the cafe's stolen card. Giselle, holding the bag there, asks who possibly bought those items. MC recognizes the stolen items, and while the man is asking about those now, she quickly calls now for her colleague right now. She tells him now that the police officer found the spices he unfortunately lost when he had gone to simply check on the active fire. Catching his close attention, he is truly disappointed deeply, and the girl then praises the police strongly for tracking the stolen items and dutifully returning them now. The detective becomes a bit awkward now after the young man sincerely thanks him. He hands over his business card and asks to be directly contacted if there is indeed any more information about the incident itself. Excited now, the employee cheerfully bids a warm farewell to the inspector. Kang now asks if he himself can go check it fully out, and the other man says they certainly need him to catch the killer fast. Jane firmly says it is very safe now, while Chase says she truly would like to work closer to the young man. It would truly be beneficial to fully get to know the local police well for future critical operations. So he now says they should stay quite close, making the young girl very hopeful now. She starts jumping in pure excitement about fully working together well, but the serious agent says that he abruptly has to leave now. Yeon-seo is presently both confused and totally shocked now, smitten. She now says that he indeed is really hard to properly understand at all. At the bustling police station now, Park firmly asks the young man if indeed he was the owner of the bag, and he responds politely that he certainly was indeed. He says he does not need it just simply because they returned his lost item, and now asks him if he ultimately came empty-handed earlier. Kang firmly says that's surely not why he himself is even there, and the officer asks him what the actual reason is. He states that he strongly believes the fire incident was indeed a murder. The detective says calmly that could be just a suspicion, and the young man states firmly that there is a very high chance of it being so, not really paying much close attention. Park then asks if they currently have any solid evidence, and he replies that he himself didn't see anyone at the window then, when he climbed up the rope. Still quite dismissive. The officer responds with a simple, brief acknowledgement now, but immediately realizes precisely what he just clearly heard. Park asks him intently if he was the tightrope walker then, and he confirms it. Hee-jung asks him now why he didn't mention so earlier, and the young man replies simply that they didn't ask him so. He starts readily talking about the young man's many great feats, but Kang quickly says that this is simply not the right time for that now truly believing him fully. Park asks intently for the exact reason behind his suspicion of a murder. Asia explains now that there was absolutely no movement inside the room, even as the fierce fire was really burning it all, so the poor victim was clearly already dead then, or could have been seriously intoxicated by alcohol or those drugs. Park asks again now about the agent's suspicions here, and he firmly confirms that there was absolutely no one else in the building. The forensic police haven't yet finished the autopsy at all, because the spreading fire was intensely fierce, that they simply couldn't retrieve much solid evidence from it then. One of the women states clearly that the fire was caused by a short-circuit event, and moreover that there were unfortunately no cameras at that scene. Another keen officer asks at once if they should perhaps create a sketch now. Kang then asks the AI system if it vividly remembers the faces of all people from yesterday clearly, and it readily confirms that it surely does. Then and there they start meticulously reviewing them then, looking closely at the images now. The young man keenly notices something vital, quickly turning right to the officer there. He states that he indeed saw 4 different people in the direct direction of the building. The very first person quickly exited the alley quite near the building holding a mobile phone, clearly wearing a bracelet and also a checkered shirt that day. As quite specifically, he describes the person's details further. The attentive detective is visibly impressed by the pinpoint accuracy clearly, as if he is clearly seeing everything right in front of him now. In reality, he actually truly is, indeed. The agent keeps describing the people now, and the officer diligently starts writing everything straight down. Park then asks if he could help them create accurate sketches before the memory fully fades. But their sketch artist was out today, so they would sadly have to wait a bit. But Kang confidently says he will draw them himself. The officer then asks if he is any good at actual drawing, and he simply responds by taking a pen and paper quickly. The young man starts sketching intently now. He asks the AI to project all the suspect's images into his vision now. 3 clear people appear before him at once, and he specifically asked it to zoom and enhance the quality behind him. The officers listen to his strange commands and begin finding him peculiar. The projected images certainly help him sketch well on the paper too. After a while of careful drawing, he announces he is now finished indeed. The officers are quite shocked indeed when they see the final results. None of the completed sketches resemble any descriptions he first gave. Then one officer there asks in confusion if this is some kind of joke at all. Right after that moment, the young man crumples the paper, simply saying he took a little break. All 3 remain utterly silent after his unexpected joke. The agent quickly tells Jean just to draw now, and the system keenly responds that it certainly can, but only if he willingly grants temporary complete control. He quickly agrees meanwhile. The officers urgently start searching for a talented sketch artist. During their tense conversation, the system takes full control of the agent's body. The officers watch everything unfold in stunned shock. Both of them are deeply frightened by what they are currently seeing on the paper. The vivid sketch of one of the lurking suspects begins distinctly forming. One of them clearly sees the drawing being swiftly made, and questions aloud if this even makes any sense at all, that it eerily looks just like a strange machine. And one of them curiously asks Kang if he truly is a genius, while another inquisitively asks if his true profession is definitely painting. Jane firmly states now that his main job quite certainly is being a special agent of the Earth Alliance, and the calm young man responds that this makes truly no difference at all. Upon showing the sketches, the young man states clearly that these 3 people exited the alley just before the fire's start, and furthermore, that the true arsonist is among them all. Indeed, everyone within the police station is utterly stunned now. The leader urgently orders everyone to verify and investigate identities. Immediately, the very next day arrives. Everyone present at the cafe is now praising the young man's cooking. The girls now begin discussing how the devastating fire was arson, and that luckily the true culprit has already been arrested. Drugs were indeed found right on the captured culprit, and the young man thinks the whole investigation moved rather quickly. Afterward, he specifically thanks Jen for all her fine skills. While other people are still busily chatting now, the insightful young man suddenly receives a phone call. It is none other than Detective Park himself, who warmly begins thanking him for greatly helping catch the culprit. 2 people from the sketch were simply local residents nearby, but shockingly the third was actually a friend of the victim. They still certainly need to properly investigate the exact cause though, but illicit drugs were discovered inside his wallet too. It seems he had asked for money, but when he didn't get any, he tragically killed the victim then. They boldly raided the place where drugs were being sold indeed. An actor was present there now, and the entertainment industry is truly in chaos. Ken comments that this situation is getting bigger and bigger now, and the weary detective complains that his hard-earned vacation is over. But thanks to that sketch, they were surely able to speed things up quickly. Then they ask quite directly if they can make the images public now. The system clearly states then that such public activities could interfere with his special covert missions, and the young man calmly comments that they don't need to hide so much. He fully agrees so as not to publicly expose his real identity, and the keen detective comments that he surely was a true hero. He simply responds that he was just naturally doing his job then, and the other comments that he would definitely keep that in mind well. Before hanging up, Betty sincerely thanks him, and both finally end the call now. While they were talking, the cafe employees overheard absolutely everything then, and started excitedly asking if he truly worked for the sharp detective. Kang quickly says it was really just a small favor only, and they comment that it sadly must have been terribly bad then, since he asked them directly not to mention his real name. Behind them now, someone suddenly starts making quite a noise. 2 people begin arguing loudly over some spilled ramen there. Then SEO suddenly feels a bit discouraged here, but Ryan kindly says she herself would clean it right up. He wonders just now if he should ask for a bonus for cleaning ramen, when suddenly then, he accidentally bumps directly into a young man. He starts apologizing profusely while the young man complains of wrist pain. He quickly tells the girl there to be quite careful. Yoon asks now if he was injured, and comments that it might be broken now. The girl starts actually crying, saying quickly to call an ambulance, but the agent there really had doubts about this claim. The system states there potentially could be a fracture here, but would need now to see the person's hand to truly be sure. Now approaching the boy, Kang asks him if he can please check. While looking now, the boy continues to complain more about the pain. Jean says directly there was no real bone damage itself, but the wrist itself was only simply sprained a bit. He repeats then what Jean just said, and the young man states it hurts a lot. Then Kang directly replies that he surely would make it hurt less. Kang gently massages the boy, leaving the others quite amazed now. He thoughtfully gives him useful recommendations on exactly what to do next, guided purely by the crucial A's information revealed. The young man asks how he'll work, since he also needs to cook meals. An unexpected emergency recording was suddenly taking place then, so they urgently called this food truck, and Yoon kindly offers him help. He curiously asks her if she even knows how to cook anything, and Yoon replies cheerfully that she is especially good at making tasty ramen. Dejected, the chef says it couldn't have just been Raymond alone, and someone skilled in the kitchen surely must have assisted him too. After saying this to himself, he begins to look hopefully at the young man. His sparkling eyes practically made the answer quite obvious indeed. He just simply needed to say yes at last. Kane apologizes quickly, turning his face away, and says he has work still, but the chef eagerly offers him 300,000 if he helps out there. He thinks carefully for a moment, and then turns back towards the man once more. He asks him if it's only about cooking rice and some other such dishes, and the relieved chef happily responds that he is deeply honored truly. The cafe actually had a great reputation because of the excellent food there, so he went eagerly to check it all out that day. And since that first visit, he had been going there every single day after. He thought to himself he would certainly learn something interesting there, but if the young man could perhaps help him a bit, he would surely be very happy to receive some nice tips too. Kang then asked the system if they could investigate other areas also. Jane says aloud, he could certainly cover the mission's cost by working hard at the food truck, and he pointedly asks if everything truly came down to the money in the end. The next morning, the chef truly praises the young man for driving so well, but he was merely managing the driving system indeed. Someone else entirely was driving, excited as can be. The chef then says he would impress everyone with the food today, and thanks the young man, who simply says there was no need then. And Jin quickly comments that he certainly should be rewarded now. As they all head towards their destination now, Kang discovers they are going directly to the location where the actors, arrested recently by the police, should be now. The entire movie was supposed to be released about 1 week ago, and the young man asks directly if it would still even be shown. His colleague responds, no one now would want to watch a movie starring an addict, clearly, so they were urgently reshooting absolutely everything now. He was quite happy to work there then, but the working atmosphere was seriously intense now. Since they indeed were redoing all of the scenes there, everyone was truly panicking. They just couldn't delay the full release because they already had the theaters fully reserved beforehand. If they delayed further, they'd lose all cinemas and go bankrupt surely. Sun Taemin here was indeed the director, one of the truly leading romance film directors, so everything in the end would definitely be fine. At that very moment right now, the director watched everything, flatly saying he disliked what he saw, that they had no time, so settle now for that utter trash. Irritated quite heavily, he starts cursing the actor who, sadly, was arrested. He yells he'd kill him if he truly got his hands on him now, and a staff member announces forthwith the arrival of the food truck. One of the cameramen suggests they all eat and cool down now, because the entire weary team was quite exhausted. The stern director yells they couldn't possibly eat. If the film failed, they'd be in debt. The food truck's now a true waste, so he angrily asked them all to simply leave, but his demand's undone when tasting just one small bite of the food. He says he could swear he really wasn't hungry right now, and the young man up front comments that this all is truly insane. He asks if they possibly drugged the delicious food, and the rather annoyed director scolds him right then. The head cook suddenly had a sprained wrist now, so another was kindly helping him and receiving many compliments there. Excited, the young man says the set was also beautiful truly, and he asked the director to cheer up and relax just a little bit. He says that none of the other actors had any issues at all, but at that very moment, one of them yells out for the director indeed. Both look back, quite worried. Eva then runs up quickly to them, saying that one of the stuntmen sprained his ankle during the filming just now. The concerned three run quickly to the young man, who is groaning in terrible pain on the ground while holding his ankle tightly. He began to apologize then. He said you should have been more careful though. One of them urgently calls the ambulance right away, asking if they could please go to the mountain quickly, while another shouts loudly for someone to bring first aid immediately. Sun watches the chaotic scene in deep despair truly, thinking they were absolutely doomed now. His screen was quite loud enough for the young men to clearly hear, and the chef solemnly said the film was definitely cursed here. Then he asked Kang so kindly if he could help this poor stuntman, since he had successfully fixed his own sprained wrist once before that. John clearly says stabilizing the ankle would help relieve all the pain, and aid in his full recovery. Then he asks if they said it was a sprain too. Seconds later, the young man suddenly appears in front of the other there. He asks to take a quick look, leaving everyone right around him intrigued now. Turning directly to the director, he firmly says he will provide first aid now, and states that they will definitely need a hospital afterward too, and the concerned director readily agrees now. Kang looks intently at Shin and calls her as though she were truly part of their team, leaving her alarmed greatly, without numbing her expressive expression. He quickly asks her to bring a compression bandage then. The director immediately makes the very same request right after, nervous quite deeply, and she affirmatively responds at once, walking rapidly to the location to gather all the needed supplies. She starts deeply thinking about what just happened before, The actress still simply couldn't believe she had been called a team member now, because in reality she was just an actress there. Sometime later on, she returns quickly with a bandage finally, and the kind young man thanks her sincerely now. As he grabs carefully the bandage around the young man's painful ankle now, the girl sadly sulks while avoiding looking directly at them at all, and she fully turns around, quite indignant now. The actor just sprained his ankle badly, but it wasn't quite as bad as they described at first. After completely finishing the first aid given, the girl politely asks if he's okay now, and the injured actor says yes clearly. He says it hurt a lot earlier when he got injured then, but now it feels like his bones are correctly in place, and that he could walk perhaps. Taemin becomes hopeful indeed, but it would be totally impossible for this young man to film properly. Kang mentions he provided just a temporary treatment only, but walking around would be difficult until he's completely recovered soon, and the stressed director starts actually feeling quite sick. His kind colleague tries hard to encourage him greatly, saying they perhaps could call another stuntman soon. Sun asks just where they would find someone like Kim Yu-chan then, and precisely how they would bring him all the way to the mountains urgently. Totally desperate now. He starts saying they would be truly ruined if they missed that release date, sadly. The young man there says the actor could do those action scenes and even volunteers himself, but the director truly fears he will get injured severely too. He says the actor was clumsy really, and if he got badly hurt, the entire film would be completely and utterly ruined. Then, they soon come up with the crucial idea of getting someone to be a stunt double, covering him fully with both a mask and sunglasses, but seemingly no one agreed while kneeling on the ground there. 10 men ask God why he gave them such torment and pain, and start sincerely making a promise to send them a suitable stuntman. Kang then says someone sent from heaven had just arrived now. He comments he was simply joking, but believes he definitely could do it himself. However, the lead actress quickly refuses the offer, saying the young man was truly neither an aspiring actor here, nor any actual part of the film, just simply a regular chef. But the director stares intently at the young man with his mouth fully open, now that he actually thought hard about it. They genuinely looked a little bit like Kim excited now. "See you," asks the young man if he truly has physical skills, and he readily says yes, completely ignoring the girl who is still clearly talking. He says quite clearly that they don't have much time, that they can then apply makeup and some CGI later, and then begs for real help. So they make quite a deal, offering triple the pay, and begin actual filming now. The scene they filmed was the one where Kim heroically saves Shin. The actor who originally played the villain was, in fact, caught with drugs, so they rushed quite quickly to reshoot everything then. Taemin tells Kang now to practice with a substitute actor instead. While casually smoking a full pack of cigarettes quickly, Huijin promptly starts explaining the movements of the fight scene, asks now if this doesn't perhaps seem just a bit strange, and one of the very young men simply says it's simple enough, because they had rehearsed already and couldn't change any of it. Jin sternly says this is really not how filming should be done, and that there are certain skills indeed used in real training. The very young man asks curiously if that truly exists at all, and the system now says its methods had more practical movements. Then, he asks those trio supporting actors if they could attack him for real now, leaving them confused completely. He says that if they fought for real instead, he would handle it quite properly, and it would look even more realistic on camera now. The four begin thoroughly discussing whether they should do this for the actual film, and if anyone could possibly get hurt here. While the woman attentively listens to everything there, Kim is currently in a rather bad mood, because this young man just doesn't know that she's indeed an actress, and starts bothering him quite sometime later then. He directly goes to the director's main office. He earnestly asks if they could film all at once, without any cuts. He explicitly says he wants to go straight into action, without any prior rehearsal. And Taemin keenly comments that this is truly great. That really was the power of the triple pay itself, and the system openly says its specific name was John Jean. Leaving the main office, he firmly tells them to start filming directly now, completely leaving the two utterly speechless here. The main director just stands there now, with his open mouth, but soon quickly comes to a definitive conclusion. His current high level, the director's instinct was clearly telling him that Kang seemed reliable. The scene soon begins with Shin screaming aloud. She calls urgently for help as 3 men quickly approach her. They menacingly threaten her and demand absolutely everything she has. When suddenly now, a young man powerfully kicks the door with all his strength, flung it wide open suddenly now. He jumps directly right to the first floor, and the men ask him how he found them anyway. The other actors fully knew they were supposed to attack him for real now, but still they were hesitant now. One of them rapidly runs directly toward Kang now. John will quickly warn him about specifically which points to carefully avoid, and clearly show him the immediate attack predictions as well. With this alone, he manages to dodge the punches from all the men so quickly. His sharp body now reacts even before the instructions truly arrive. The tactical system tells him to grab his tough opponent by the collar tightly, as it absolutely would make for a far better camera shot in fact. So he startlingly does. fully startling the actor too, precisely because it wasn't indeed in the given script. Camera 3 clearly would capture the best angle of the intense scene much better. So Kian forcefully throws the surprised actor right into the air above. He begins instantly to fake hitting the worried man, making him worry greatly that it might. He moves towards another, who pleads to follow the script closely, but it's all in vain, as he ends up taking a strong punch to the head now. The third actor is simply shocked by what just truly happened now. He starts wondering just why the director isn't stopping the scene yet, but now he no longer even cares about it. Then he firmly closes his eyes and rushes right at the young man here, who dodges his wild punch by throwing his entire body backward fully. Right after, he moves forward again and hits him hard with his head now. Kane now uses his knee and lifts the actor with just a single strike fast. Then he grabs a solid wooden bar and hits him harshly again now, sending him truly flying across now. Everyone right on set watches this entire wild scene with their mouths open wide. The stunned actors lie still on the cold ground, stunned and traumatized by it all. In the raw scene now, 3 bodies are sprawled all around him, and the actress looks truly surprised there. The fearful girl thinks the young man is quite insane here. As he gets closer to her, she surely starts getting very nervous now. He simply responds calmly that he is now there to save her soon. The girl urgently asks if he will really let her live now, and she thinks that this action wasn't truly in the script at all. The filmmaker sharply claps the clapperboard now, ending the very scene then. He yells out to everyone that the young man wasn't supposed to hit anyone at all, and urgently asks if the extras are still indeed alive. Taemin says he was blinded completely by the film, and then wonders just what he has truly done, when he thinks maybe he should have stopped much earlier. One of them quickly stands up loudly, calling for an akang now. The director is quite surprised indeed. The extras then quickly run to the actor and ask what he did right there, since they truly felt the sharp impact, but not the actual pain. They keep on questioning the very man then, saying they had never experienced anything quite like that before now, and also that they were deeply scared. Some now wonder exactly how they weren't truly hit at all. And then a young man approaches rapidly shouting. He urgently asks just why he was so brutal indeed, and says he shouldn't throw the poor extras around or even break them, pointedly pointing at the young men standing there. He asks what will now truly become of them now, and they simply respond that they feel quite fine, noticing their calm answers. The man becomes incredulous now. He pointedly asks if they are really okay then, and they do confirm, though they don't quite understand why. One of the extras says it oddly felt like a soft cushion, and that they were sliding instead of actually being hit hard. He asks Cal, and Kang responds it's just like skiing sideways here, down the snowy mountain. He asks Kim if he's okay after the kick. Kim replies quickly that he didn't feel any real impact, because the man had actually held him just before he fell over. The filmmaker argues the camera recorded them truly getting beaten up, so he pointedly asks how they weren't indeed hurt. Taemin gently places a hand on his shoulder, telling him to wrap up the shoot. He lets out a knowing laugh and says he clearly knew everything, which is why he strategically didn't stop filming at all, and his skeptical companion readily calls him a liar now. Soon after, he asked to carefully review the footage sometime later too. They all agree that everything went perfectly well indeed, and that their raw expressions were totally on point definitely. Kim happily says the director captured every single thing shown, and the man responds he got truly great shots effortlessly then. He praises Kang greatly for calculating all the precise camera positions. He continues now, saying that all camera angles turned out absolutely perfect. The other asks now if the stunt double had been able to move correctly, according to the camera positions right from the beginning scene. Now they ask the director right now if his own part is truly done, and the excited director then says yes, and that he is very impressed, so he heartily thanks him, saying everything looked as good as any Hollywood movie, and the pleased man is quite pleased. The director orders everyone promptly to get ready for the next scenes now. One of the stuntmen praises the man highly, asking which agency he is from. He responds quickly that it's the catering truck here. The girl is still quite irritated, so she wonders now if he's a fool or if it was simply just an act really. In her personal thoughts now, she truly believes everyone is pretending that they actually feel any pain now, and will cry much later if it were specifically in the script itself. She thinks she would be beaten too then. Kang stares intently at Yena. The woman keenly wonders why he is staring intently at her like that, and if he somehow managed to read her very mind right now. However, indeed, the AI detects a truly strange noise coming from the wall, and alerts him now. The man observes quickly that the sound is surely coming from above. Jane issues a stern warning that the very structure is about to collapse, and potentially injure several actors. He then becomes alarmed now, as he sees the system initiating a tense 5-second countdown soon. In this first second here, the young man grabs the stuntman by his clothes and throws him far away. With just 3 seconds left, the woman now begins to panic, with only 2 seconds now remaining. She's swiftly grabbed by the man while screaming loudly for help indeed, and he quickly picks up a strong metal bar here. In this final second, Many pieces dramatically fall from the ceiling quickly, and the young man tries hard to deflect them with the bar now. The others on the set are truly terrified as the very structure collapses loudly, wondering loudly what is truly happening soon, while quickly carrying the woman with just one arm now. The young man valiantly continues to shield her now. She panics greatly and cries out loudly for her dear mother to save her soon. Amidst her desperate sobs now, he firmly tells her to be quiet as he deflects falling objects above. Another urgent warning from the system is issued promptly. It chillingly announces that a large structure is collapsing suddenly. A significant section of the film set is now utterly destroyed. The entire film crew is in complete shock and disbelief. The director anxiously calls out for Shin at once, asking urgently if she's okay as the smoke slowly dissipates here. Kang can clearly be seen still holding the terrified woman. When she wakes fully up, she immediately starts screaming again loudly, begging someone desperately to come save her now, and the man calmly tells her that she is still quite alive, even though the distressed woman is utterly frightened indeed. He coolly asks if she's surprised, perhaps even nervous also. The woman angrily yells at him for throwing the poor actor away, and bitterly says that now she too certainly will ultimately be tossed aside too. Kang quickly responds that the set suddenly collapsed, and he saved her life. At that very moment, the immediate surroundings become fully visible now. In utter shock, Yukon frantically asks what happened suddenly, and he replies simply that he doesn't know at all, but says that the place was quite poorly built. The woman then fully realizes that they both were saved indeed, when she acknowledges quietly that she was rescued just now. The young man asks her now if he can let go of her indeed. The woman is then abruptly dropped now by Kang. Yu-chen approaches closely and asks Kang if he held any resentment, but the young man denies it quickly and asks if he is okay himself, despite being thrown a bit. He replies he felt no pain at all. The director approaches them and asks if everyone's okay now. The young man responds that he is totally fine, and Kang saved him then. Then he politely asks the actress next. The woman starts to reply softly but stops staring at her rescuer close. He stares right back at her, looking embarrassed slightly. Shin finally replies yes quietly, and starts thinking that maybe, just maybe, he isn't a bad person exactly. The director is grateful, realizing truly how dangerous that moment was before. Had those metal bars actually hit the actors then, at worst, someone could have sadly died. If all this were due to the poor construction of the entire set, especially now with the ongoing drug scandal, the movie itself would surely be doomed. Observing all, Kang, the director, then calls him a true hero. A concerned filmmaker asks if they can resume filming soon after repairs, and the director simply responds that they really cannot. Soon enough after, a nervous cameraman approaches carefully. He then reveals he captured everything from an ideal, perfect camera angle, leaving absolutely everyone thoroughly confused indeed. The young man excitedly says that the very camera was actually rolling and recorded absolutely everything, urging them all now to check it soon. On the clear screen, Kang can be seen actively dodging the fallen beams there, all while safely holding the fragile woman on his shoulders gently. The three young men are completely astonished by the perfect angle and fresh footage. Sun says it truly looks like a huge Hollywood movie and that the full scene is indeed perfect. He excitedly starts saying that this crucial scene will become positively massive, because it has now turned truly iconic instantly. But the experienced filmmaker quickly interrupts him sharply. Although yes, the dramatic scene is great, it was surely recorded during a real accident, not as some planned sequence. Then he pointedly asks what might happen if the public fully found out that it actually was in fact simply an accident, and the film director becomes truly worried now. But he then replies that since truly no one was injured, they could use this simply for marketing. In a worst-case scenario, they could handle it all with lawyers. His companion then asks if they will continue filming, and he replies directly that they will, but only now if the agent allows it all. The director then runs toward the main man. He thanks him sincerely for saving everyone in the accident, and the AI calmly responds that it is all part of its core function. He then replies he only did precisely what needed to be done. Sun is quite pleased with the response, and asks if they can use the footage. Even though in truth it was an accident, the AI system reveals that they could be exposed, but there would be really no problem since Kang's face was covered well. Taking the AI system's cool response into account now, Kang readily agrees directly to the request. In another distinct part of the set, a director politely asks Shin if she's quite okay, and she replies simply that she truly is. She watches the young man from a distance, just watches on there. Looking at his clothes, she notices a tear there on his back indeed. Alarmed now, the woman stands up and rushes quickly to him then, asking if he is hurt right now because of that tear. He replies calmly that he is perfectly fine now. The woman thinks deeply that despite the true danger, Kang saved both of them so bravely and didn't get hurt, finding him incredible there. Despite all of her thoughts then, she thanks him sincerely, and he replies that he was just doing his part to truly help. Shin gets quite angry and responds that she is a famed actress, not a crew member here. He simply laughs now and says it was just simply a joke. He tells the director calmly that his work is done, and he is leaving now. And the man thanks him deeply for all of his true help. The others comment that Nay is truly incredible, and that the food over at his cafe is so delicious truly. Shin asks him curiously where he works at, and the filmmaker replies quickly that it's indeed at a cyber cafe. Although everyone finds this quite strange though. They wonder aloud how someone so talented truly works in a place just like that. The woman asks now if he will indeed return, and the director replies that he truly needs him back there. That with Liu Kang's help, the film would be the very best action movie. But the woman quickly corrects him there, saying that the film was truly supposed to be a romantic comedy. He replies then that the genre doesn't really matter at all. If they cut the drug scenes out and added more action sequences now, they can surely solve a whole pile of current problems. The filmmaker says that he will hire an action director instead now, and the other one simply asks why now. He adds that Kang filmed all scenes perfectly, without a need for any help, and his colleague agrees, continuing, saying they need some time now, that the man really is an effective solution indeed. Even though he isn't technically an actor, you see, he is far better than Kim, who still isn't fully convinced yet. His colleague then asks about the food truck today, and he replies that the man is frustratingly stubborn now, that he doesn't really want to talk about anything else right now, and will soon handle that problem all by himself. Then he heads straight toward the man who left the set earlier, shouting his very name now. Kang indeed leaves the set, thinking everything was just fine, but the collapse actually happened for that very reason now. It occurred exactly there where the actors were standing, making this whole situation highly suspicious indeed. Jim now reveals that after a data analyzing process, it estimated that intentional damage was certainly done to structure, to make it fully collapse. The man then asks if this is truly what he thinks, if someone might truly have done it all on purpose here. The system now responds that multiple beams were directed right at Shin, and that only someone who actually had seen the complete script could possibly have premeditated this sort of action. Kane concludes now that someone either targeted all the actors, or even tried to sabotage the whole film production, but it surely was intentional at that crucial moment. The director soon arrives panting and urgently calling out to him. As he then approaches, he now asks for some time to simply talk, and the man asks him if there's truly anything left to discuss now. Desperate now, he pleads with this young man to save his film. Sun then fully explains the truly dire situation of the whole production. The eye reveals now that the geographic area is fully identical to its database, meaning this information truly holds no real value. Kang replies that he currently works in Seoul and can't just come back. But his companion there says it's perfectly fine now, because tomorrow, the next day, he will move all recordings to Seoul itself. The young man responds firmly that he has work and can't stay on the set. But Sun says they will only film what's absolutely necessary here. Jin says clearly this simply won't work, but adds now that the man would receive a very solid payment. A higher offer here were made now, it would be good to readily accept, and Kang wonders about this sudden attitude change now. Convinced surely, the man then asks the director to tell him exactly the schedule he needs to follow. Sun is immensely grateful for this, saying he will stay up all night just reviewing absolutely everything. In the following days, the director changes so much from being downcast to instead being dedicated and seemingly full of renewed energy. But the set itself also begins to now take on a better shape there. And everyone now is rushing hard to complete the actual film. The extras all feel like everything is truly going very well indeed. Even very late at night due to Kang's key influence, the atmosphere now feels calmer and notably lighter. Suddenly, a white car arrives, skidding intensely from inside. Manager Kim comes running quickly. He enters the set urgently and yells for the main director. Sun asks what happened indeed, and he begs desperately to be saved, that they simply can't release this original film now, because it would surely cause massive financial losses for the entire company. But they also absolutely can't delay its release, since they've already booked the biggest theater slots now. But Toman firmly tells him to be quiet down, because the skilled director will solve ultimately all the major problems. Kim asks exactly how he plans on doing that now, and he replies directly that he will immediately change the film's complete genre. It will now thrillingly be an action romantic comedy film, leaving his colleague understandably nervous about such a drastic decision. The worried manager says they only have just a few weeks left to continue filming, and asks urgently how he fully plans to change the core genre now. Someone replies calmly that he is already diligently working on that, and will surely show something concrete later on. But someone unexpectedly and suddenly slams the set door right open. He pointedly asks why he bangs the door like that during filming, commenting sharply that it raised a lot of dust around. His colleague instantly recognizes precisely who it is there, and bows respectfully to greet his superior boss, completely and utterly caught off guard now. The director wonders aloud if this is President Lee Tahoe indeed. Lee responds calmly that he didn't come exactly to disrupt filming now, but after clearly hearing about the set accident causing the collapse itself, and to come in person, Kim says there were those technical issues then, but the president sternly asks why he didn't prevent all of them truly. The young man anxiously tries to answer his own boss now, but the latter sharply tells him not to blame it on any drugs here. The president's beloved daughter, Lee Minji specifically, hears his strong voice and quickly approaches there, asking if he is angry at all. The president is clearly pleased to see her now. Lee sweetly says she heard his voice and came right over then, and he playfully responds that it was simply just a bit of noise anyway. The director politely greets the child and Lee keenly calls his attention here. He pointedly asks if he can truly finish filming and editing in a week later. Someone confidently replies that he can, and it will certainly be better than the original version, and the president is quite surprised now. After all, this high level of work is expected truly from an experienced director. The director keenly talks about Kang, as his filming skills are top tier without a doubt. Lee is quite surprised, having never even heard of this name before now. Since it is indeed a personal recommendation, it keenly piques his interest quite a bit. The president asks if he is an outsider and exactly where he is currently at the moment. Sun then takes the boss outside, near some tables it seems. He clearly points to a food truck, saying that he's right over there in fact. Taehyung totally freezes at that sight at once. Kang is currently working, busily stirring the popcorn. Lee asks if this so-called martial arts master, who is cooking rice now, is in fact Kang. Taemin replies plainly that he most certainly is, and the president then asks just why he is cooking now. He keenly responds that Kang brought the entire food truck to the set today. The president quickly falls completely silent now, getting quite serious. He asks his companion if Kang actually took Kim's position at all. He replies indeed that he did, but is quickly interrupted by Lee there, who asks sharply if he is joking because this serious situation is very critical, and putting an amateur in the middle makes absolutely no sense at all, just to save money. Sun truly questions the claim about saving money, and the president bluntly accuses him of cutting crucial costs, simply because he certainly knows the entire film is doomed now. He firmly denies all accusations, saying Kang is quite excellent, but the big boss orders that production costs must be acutely cut, and that absolutely everything must be properly archived soon. The director truly panics, but Lee orders Kim to check the receipts now. The esteemed president's daughter is impressed with this snack too, and she politely asks what exactly it's even called too. Kang simply replies that is indeed a mixed snack for them all, and Min is rather surprised by such a simplistic name actually. The man then reveals that he made plenty for the production crew, so she definitely can eat as much of it as she really wants. The young girl says sadly she can't eat too very much of it, because her loving mother says she sadly will gain weight fast, but he kindly tells her she can surely eat despite this all now. The worried girl replies that she currently is the lead actress, so she must take truly careful care of her expensive costume. She additionally adds that she happens to be a child actress too, but even so now, she is still the main actress indeed, and he quietly responds that she is indeed right too. She asks the young man to just make even more snacks, and he replies quickly that he will be away in Seoul, so he won't be there too, and asks if she can take some and hide them well, but he then suggests that she visit the cyber cafe instead, as there will definitely be far more available there. She agrees readily and hands him her personal phone right now. She urgently asks him to quickly write down his phone number, so she can easily contact him again sometime in the future, and he simply complies with her request right on the set. The president is clearly about to finally leave now, but the worried filmmaker asks urgently for a moment with him. He frantically tries to convince his powerful boss right now, saying plainly that the director is a true perfectionist and never truly settles for any sort of mediocre results ever. But when it comes directly to Kang specifically, he literally visibly trembled. And that is indeed something serious. Lee is finally convinced and asks to see the recordings intently, as he adjusts himself and quickly starts the video recording. Indeed, they are completely stunned by everything that was truly captured. In utter disbelief at what he now sees, yes, he asks, genuinely wondering, when they added all the special effects, how exactly did they choreograph those scenes to get that very kind of footage then? Someone reveals directly that there are absolutely no special effects, and furthermore, that the fantastic footage is completely raw. There's truly no editing, because Kang precisely calculated all the camera angles beforehand, all to get perfect, amazing framing in all the shots, it seems. Still completely in disbelief. Wow. Lee then asks specifically if the man from the food truck did all this indeed, and right away the director confirms it. That's correct. He asks, astonished, if everything was really done by just an amateur in a single take. His companion replies quickly that it was, and that the set collapse truly was real too. So Kang saved absolutely everyone from a real crisis. It's true. Fully realizing his big mistake now, the boss says sincerely he owes a sincere apology to the man, and also to his colleague. He formally apologizes sincerely, and the director kindly replies that it's no real problem, and he adds that everything has been completely resolved now, especially after fortunately seeing the fantastic footage. Lee then goes to Kang, and the generous young man even offers him some snacks right away, but he clearly says that's truly not why he's here. The president most certainly introduces himself right now, and reveals he came to personally thank him for saving the film too. He replies that he was simply doing his job picking up the snacks always. He asks what they are. Kang replies that is a type of blind cookie here. Lee hesitates just a bit, as he ate these in the military. Decides to try them now to be polite to the young man indeed. Upon clearly tasting them now, he is quite surprised by the flavor. It is both sweet and salty too, yet well seasoned. It also has a pancake-like taste, but without grease at all, making him even consider the flavor magical entirely. Please. The president clearly says his daughter would love the food much, and the young man replies that Min has already been there now. The boss smoothly comments that he hopes his daughter thanked him properly then. He quickly calls for his daughter to come and eat with him now, but sadly there is no response at all. Lee wonders where she went now, and the man looks clearly confused. Kang then asks Jin where the girl is truly. The eye reveals clearly that it cannot locate her yet, not even in the recorded footage whatsoever. An-ass steps right out of the food truck and asks directly if she's inside. The system reveals clearly that it cannot detect her. The system cannot detect the president's daughter's presence nearby at all. Then his own phone suddenly starts ringing aloud now, displaying definitively her name on the glowing screen. He quickly picks up the phone and says he had received a signal too, surprising the president greatly that he actually has her number. He explains swiftly that she took his number for more snacks later. Then he proceeds quite formally to answer this important call. Within truly a few fleeting moments of the call now, his own serious face noticeably turns quite grim indeed. This instantly catches Lee's full attention, and he calls out to him. The president asks him clearly why Kang looks so obviously troubled. McKangan then speaks clearly into his phone now, greeting politely the person on the far other end of that line. A mysterious man approaches quietly and calls out to the young man. He pointedly asks why he appears to look so very upset now, but the young man simply ignores him completely and walks in another direction. He now wonders aloud about the probability Minji broke her phone. The AI simply says it's unlikely since the sound was rather different. With that inquiry, the young man then asks the AI to thoroughly analyze the sound just now, and it actively plays back the precisely recorded data it has. The sound analysis is swiftly completed now, and the AI determines that the sound most likely came from a soft, muffled object, quite wrapped securely in an outer layer of some sort. Then, there is a distinct sound of plastic itself being firmly pressed against something. Metal echoes inside a confined space are also clearly detected right away. Nakanjin thoughtfully ponders the soft object that was identified directly. He also keenly reflects on the other sounds now captured in the confined space quickly. Quickly indeed. He concludes that the C might be directly saying the call was indeed made from inside a car now. Someone suddenly yells out loud in frustration soon, simply asking now how the other could even kidnap someone and leave the victim right with a phone. The kidnapper quickly says he genuinely didn't know the girl had her phone with her. He also quickly says he took the device directly from her some time ago, but the other man says they will certainly be suspected if they call again soon. Frustrated severely, the gang leader sternly asks who the girl then called now, and they quickly say the phone screen showed contact for Snack Man here, asking now if the girl perhaps wants something to eat indeed. He jokes lightly that he could bring her some food soon. Regardless, the leader orders them to move the car quietly right now, since they urgently need to escape before anyone notices them at all. Nearby, the man next in a canyon calls him again, asking what's wrong now. He says that after answering that call from his daughter earlier, the young man became very serious suddenly, and didn't say anything else at all, making him deeply nervous. The eye activates the hostage rescue protocol. Quickly indeed, the intelligence detects a backpack and snack wrappers there, left behind, which apparently does belong to young Minji now. Following carefully the crumbs left on the narrow path here, they certainly lead directly toward a very specific car now. Without a second thought, Kenjin quickly runs away from the location, leaving the distraught girl's father in deep distress. The worried man tries desperately to chase after him quickly, but finds his daughter's backpack on the ground and recognizes it now, inside the speeding car. The driver remains intensely focused, but notices the young man running after them, and warns the boss now. Desperate indeed, the leader asks why the driver is reporting the grave situation so calmly, and firmly orders him now to speed up considerably. Accelerating hard, the car quickly gains an immense speed now, and the onboard AI confirms that they are indeed the real enemies. It keenly warns that they have already noticed the young man's presence. It then suggests a suitable weapon to properly deal with vehicles now, and advises the young man to swiftly use a traffic sign to defend himself well. Very quickly indeed, Kenjin grabs the large object firmly, which has a quite long and sturdy metal pole now. He keeps running swiftly after the car while holding the weapon tightly in his hands. The kidnapper now calls the young man insane and mocks him quite cruelly, saying he won't be able to catch their speeding car while on foot now, but he still firmly orders the driver to accelerate even more quickly. Meanwhile, the little girl cries desperately and loudly, calling for the kind snack man softly, her dear father and her loving mother as well. Noticing that the young man is no longer quite close now, the driver then informs the boss that he's gone, laughing evilly. The leader says he probably just got tired and collapsed from all the running. Suddenly, the young man appears quickly from above them all and lands on top of the car, shocking absolutely everyone inside the speeding vehicle. He swings the heavy traffic sign and strikes the vehicle hard from above, terrifying absolutely everyone inside now. The driver loses control quickly while the occupants of the car panic greatly, wondering just what exactly is happening to them. Even so still, the boss orders them to keep accelerating so as to throw the young man completely off. Kanjin yells frantically, asking the eye to find a way to stop this vehicle now, and it quickly suggests that he look more closely at the hood instead. It tells him that if he pierces just a specific point there vertically, the powerful engine will shut down soon. Without wasting a moment, the young man follows the given instructions so well, causing the vehicle to become totally immobilized now. Standing tall on the hood, he stares intently at the occupants of the car there, but the panicked driver slams hard on the emergency brake then, launching the young man suddenly off now. The terrified onlookers scream as they see the boy flying through the air fast, before impacting hard on the ground, laughing loudly. The arrogant kidnapper calls the protagonist an utter idiot for believing he ever could handle them all. The artificial intelligence warns the young man that he truly could die here if he lands too incredibly hard on the unforgiving ground. So he expertly manages to land safely on his own feet, states factually that the enemy's emergency brake was successfully triggered indeed. Inside the secure car, the men comment strangely on how the boy landed so effortlessly now. Then the furious boss orders the hesitant driver to accelerate hard and ruthlessly run over the young man before he can do much anything. But as they fully step on the gas pedal, the car shockingly loses control and the young man states the vehicle is broken badly. Frustrated completely, the boss violently hits the poor driver and fiercely orders them to immediately get out and kill the boy first now. The young man urgently asks about the girl still, but coldly the leader says he will hold on tightly to her. In the meantime, the leader getting out swiftly of the car there. The enemies slowly walk toward the young man who stands only meters away. They ask sharply just what the boy is given such skills. Mocking them outright, Kengan quips he is Batman so quickly. As those men now seriously consider responding back, he suddenly appears quickly and lands a truly powerful blow squarely on one, sending him truly flying. The other man there holds a knife tightly and says, "The young man is far too fast for his eyes even to fully follow." Without any hesitation, he's also taken down swiftly with an extremely strong kick, with clearly the two men entirely out of commission now. The boy heads directly to the car there to rescue that girl promptly. The boss truly panics upon seeing Kanjin right at the car door and screams calmly. The young man bravely says he will save the girl at once, and reassures her now that she really doesn't need to worry so much. Thinking quickly now, the protagonist now asks the crucial AI for a plan to subdue this kidnapper totally. The AI keenly responds that the young man just should jump right into the car quickly, to overpower the enemy swiftly and gradually convince him to just surrender. Or one can lure him carefully out of the car completely. Kang Jin opts to draw the unstable man out of the vehicle quickly. After all, the other option might put dear Minji in grave danger. Yes, I suggest that too. To lower the enemy's careful guard, the boy should step completely away from the general area now, since the kidnapper won't come out unless he surely feels safer. Seeing the boy step back, the kidnapper assumes he certainly won't attack. He notices a small group approaching rapidly and says he urgently needs to leave before they truly arrive. Opening the car door quickly now, he steps out with the girl and holds a sharp knife to her slender neck. Giving orders aloud, he tells Kanjin to get the car and not call the police at all, or the dear girl will surely die. The father panics completely upon seeing his beloved daughter in that awful situation. Desperate now, he begs the young man's friend to tell him to get the car for him. Terrified greatly, he runs toward Minji shouting loudly. He says he will give the man the car quickly, but in exchange now, he must not harm the dear girl. Otherwise, he will destroy the kidnapper's entire lineage certainly. The desperate kidnapper ultimately accepts the offer then, but he says the poor girl's father must retrieve the car now. Then he rushes off quickly. Others nearby ask if they should call police immediately, but one young man says firmly they must keep this secret here. The worried father drives the car fast and tells his beloved daughter to just hold on a little longer now. As he's on his way, the inner eye tells the brave protagonist that giving such villain a fast vehicle now will drastically increase the chances of him escaping with a hostage sadly. Without any hesitation, the anxious father arrives with the car presently. He yells loudly for the ruthless kidnapper not to touch Minji ever. Crying softly, a little girl calls out weakly for her own father now. But the vile villain points the sharp knife at the young man there and orders him sternly to raise his trembling hands and stay back quickly. However, he simply cannot bear to see his own daughter in that situation clearly. He disobeys the harsh orders and runs fast toward the scared girl now, saying bravely he will surely save her quickly, losing patience deeply. The wicked enemy says coldly he'll kill the girl if this man gets closer now, realizing fully the utter gravity of the tense situation quickly. Kenji understands he must act so very fast to end this terrible mess. A red liquid now appears, increasing the tension in that entire area. The girl's father screams out, in utter despair surely. Then the kidnapper collapses rather heavily to the ground below, releasing young Minji instantly. It is now revealed the protagonist threw a rock right at the man's head, hitting the target perfectly, indeed. The artificial intelligence then states quite calmly that the enemy was struck hard by a powerful weapon now. A rock. Believe it. The father rushes to his daughter and embraces her closely. Later, several police vehicles arrive quickly at the tense scene. The police officers carefully examine the enemies on the hard ground and notice clearly that they all have severely broken ribs. And additionally, one has a critical head injury as well. They state that all three are in terrible physical condition now, especially the one who was heavily hit in the head by the thrown rock now, as it directly caused a severe skull fracture also. And they strongly suggest calling for an ambulance right now. The girl's worried father then asks, why are they sending these kidnappers to the hospital immediately? And if these criminals did anything good at all to deserve this treatment? He firmly insists that his daughter was kidnapped truly, and therefore she should receive care first always, while the officers say that they cannot just leave villains there for now. Worried, Minji asks. Quite worried. If the snack truck man will be arrested soon, for what he did call to the young girl this way. Kanjin tells her not to worry now, as her father will also save him then. The eye keenly suggests that if the young man wants to escape the police now is truly the right time, and activates the escape protocol then. The protagonist keenly thinks that if the man is quite smart, he will quickly use his influence to keep the young man out of jail for now. However, he now believes that this will not happen at all. Before he can finish all his thoughts too, he notices the man, quite obviously, raising his voice loud, telling the police officer that Kanjin actually saved his life and is indeed innocent here. Unmoved, the stern officer says this. He needs firm evidence to prevent the man from being arrested soon. Concerned, the father anxiously says they are up in the mountains high, and thus there is no way to provide proof here at all. But he's then interrupted by another man then, who loudly says he has a way now to prove the protagonist's innocence too. Looking upward, he sees it's truly the film director himself, who then states clearly that this is his very own film set, and that he indeed recorded many of these key events. He readily shows the detailed video of what just happened, where the kidnappers are clearly filmed. Yes, with perfect camera angles. The police soon conclude that these three men kidnapped the girl now, and directly threaten Kanjin too. The director now explains the set is full of cameras all around, and simply that when something major happens here, everything quite quickly gets recorded fully. Everyone there agrees the protagonist is a true hero who saved them all. The AI terminates. Finally, the escape protocol. One of the officers says even if the villain's leader dies soon, the young man will surely not be punished for that crime. The girl's grateful father says then that if anyone tries to unjustly punish the protagonist indeed, he will firmly show the carefully recorded footage. Even so, Kanjin promises clearly he will not simply run away now, but will politely take his leave here, because it is already dinner time now at a restaurant nearby. He then sits down to eat and asks nicely if she wants to try a dessert. The little girl asks sweetly if the young man himself made the sweet, and he happily says yes, adding he truly tried to please her much. You know, indeed, she wasn't very hungry quickly then. The AI says that desserts increase emotional attachment and truly help win allies. Kang asks the young girl to taste the sweet, saying it is so delicious. The father now quietly watches his daughter eat away, and asks his daughter if the dessert is really good now. She happily says it is very tasty while father asks to try a small bit. Both are truly ecstatic with the exquisite flavor of the food, and say now that everything the young man makes is delicious indeed. Curious now, the father asked the protagonist how he cooked dessert, since he also wants to make the dessert for his girl at home so. Explaining this, the young man says a normal person just wouldn't be able to make it, because it requires sheer strength to mix all the ingredients quickly, and also season all of them properly too. The father then asks if the young man is a restaurant chef by chance, but Kanjin states instead that he is really just a worker at a computer cafe which serves food too. The provided answer leaves the concerned father deeply shocked, as he truly did not expect such a response like this. Suddenly, another person appears and loudly calls out to Taho, leaving the man somewhat confused while loudly shouting out. A worried woman quickly gets out of the nearby car, asking if he is still eating. It's Minji's frantic mother now. He anxiously tries hard to explain everything, but the woman says their sweet daughter was nearly kidnapped earlier, and can't understand how he can just be sitting there eating snacks calmly. Completely irritated, she angrily hits the man while the little girl cries loudly for her mother now. She quickly turns to her young daughter and tenderly asks if she's okay now, but then immediately notices that the young little girl is very dirty indeed. Still earnestly trying to explain things, the man says it will sound strange now, but truly there is a valid reason for this entire unusual situation. But the furious woman is angry and fiercely threatens him now, while Taho earnestly apologizes for absolutely what happened too. The sharp film director comments that he's seeing more sides of the boss himself. That very day, another concerned woman asks somebody else to calm down too, but she firmly replies that she simply cannot stay calm, even though she is clearly warned that there are many people all around. The young woman now says she will handle that man quietly, without any police or witnesses directly involved here. Later on, the girl's worried mother appears now, thanking Kanjin profoundly for saving her daughter's precious life. He just says it was only natural indeed, and the woman adds that she saw absolutely everything, through all the recorded clear footage, in detail. Sunbei recounts that moment when the young man actually saved the girl, and says aloud that he truly risked his very own life. Reassuringly, the man says everything there was controlled safely, so that he surely wouldn't get hurt at all. But surprisingly, he is then interrupted by Minji now, who sharply reminds him now of his crucial promise. Kanjin then tells her that whenever she wants some sweets and snacks, she simply needs to call him soon. Feeling much calmer now, the woman says she's heading directly home, since the girl definitely needs to do her upcoming homework, and she then bids farewell gently to her caring husband. They are talking with the main protagonist now. Tao says that if it weren't for this young man, truly, he and his dear wife would be in total despair. At that moment, he thanks the young man once more, and says he will treat him to a fancy and nice meal sometime soon. Someone calls for President Tahoe to come over briefly. As he approaches her, a woman says she saw absolutely everything, and mentions that the young man could really do some action scenes. Yes, she asks if he's perhaps lying about his computer work. The young man affirms firmly that it is indeed not a lie, and the girl asks curiously where the place actually is, requesting eagerly that he send her the address and phone number too. He is grabbing the young woman's phone quickly. He saves his contact as Nek Hangjin happily now. She sincerely thanks the young man there, but then she quickly tells him directly not to get the wrong idea, and that she only asked for his contact to specifically visit the computer cafe soon. She is promptly leaving the place now. He realizes now he doesn't even know the cafe's actual number. Someone suddenly appears asking clearly what is going on here, and he is questioning who dared to publish such a thing online indeed. It is Taeho, and he is absolutely furious now, demanding immediately to know now who uploaded the video of his own daughter's rescue online. Indeed, he directly accuses one of the people present, as only they truly witnessed what just happened. A man suddenly interrupts and says that public relations is calling now. On the other end right there, the man urgently asks if young Minji is okay, and her father proudly responds that a true hero saved her life, and he then orders the video to be immediately taken down online. The artificial intelligence then states that it is quite difficult now to stop the video from being shared more online, since it has already been reposted on so many foreign websites. With that, Tay simply asks them to urgently find out who leaked the video there. The director also becomes quite agitated here, and demands urgently to know who released the raw footage, saying he will spare their very life if they confess now. In the car, somebody answers the phone now and asks what the matter is this time. What caller messed up this time? The person on the line asks her to just listen without getting mad, and informs her that the video footage of the young girl's dramatic rescue is spreading all over the internet now. He tells her now not to worry, and says he certainly will find out who leaked all the footage. Then it soon is revealed that Minji herself really posted the video online. Her father is quite confused now, but they explain the story, that earlier, the young girl truly got excited when she saw the actual video and posted it, calling the kind snack man a real hero now. The little girl said that someone just like him deserves full recognition now. She then uploaded the touching footage straight to social media now. With all this information, Tai is at a complete loss for how exactly to react, and is directly asked now if there is a real problem with this situation here. He is then interrupted sharply by the angered director now. Says he is very disappointed in him and is shouting too loud. The man just says he deeply thought the young girl's concerned father would be fully able to distinguish right from wrong here. The very next day then, someone watches the moving rescue video on a computer, saying it surely is insane. They remark that this looks just like a promotional video for a new movie now, as absolutely no normal person could possibly perform those actions shown. The whole group agrees that when that very film is finally released, they will all absolutely get together to watch the film, looking much more closely indeed at the footage shown. One specific person in the entire group then notices closely that the young man right there in the scene certainly resembles Kanjin, thoughtfully so. The blonde girl says that the image quality is not that great there, but the whole body really looks a lot like their friend's body. Another young woman thoughtfully says that even for him, performing all those very movements so effortlessly shown would truly be extremely difficult now. Missing him badly, they deeply wonder when he will return to work. Suddenly, a blue-eyed masked man quickly appeared, fighting valiantly against many opponents sitting right on the floor. The skilled actress watches that intense scene unfold. The young man is totally ready now for that scene. The signal is finally given and the exciting filming begins right now. Looking deeply, indeed, into the young girl's clear eyes, he asks now if the poor princess is totally safe. The scene then gets recorded, and the director thanks everyone present right on set. After the filming, the man says clearly that Kanjin's action scene was truly perfect. But then when Sunny looked at Yuchin then, her eyes changed completely there. She was running quickly toward the protagonist now. The director there says he did an amazing job that day and thanks him a lot for the footage. Kanjin inquires if the work is fully finished, and the other younger man replies that indeed it truly is, and adds that filming will properly resume the very next day. Before he is leaving, He asks specifically about the situation fully regarding Mindy's rescue video. The man just explains that. The video was quickly exposed through the various national and also international channels currently, and it is now circulating quite widely. But at least there have currently been no negative reports about any kidnapping, as indeed that would harm the entire film. However, either now by pure luck, or unfortunately by real misfortune, people widely understood the video as a promotional teaser now for the new movie. Additionally, he further explains that they silence all the witnesses and are carefully maintaining the story that it is simply a promotional video. Kenjin politely asks how Taho is actually doing, and he promptly responds by asking how the young man thinks he even feels, knowing that his own daughter's video is widely circulating now. He confidently states that thanks to the brave protagonist now, they were definitely able to sustain the narrative that everything portrayed was pure fiction. Moreover, with the considerable success of the film actually, the movie script was changed, and now Shin Yun has indeed been given a lead role, which positively makes the young girl incredibly grateful overall. Happy with these results, the esteemed president says aloud. He sincerely would like to treat the young man to a nice drink tonight. He also warmly invites the other talented actors from the movie too, as everyone worked really hard together to make this filming actually happen. The Eye earnestly recommends that the young man fully accept the invitation then, and he wholeheartedly agrees later on. The delicious meal is promptly served, and both the food and drinks look so delicious. Carefully observing his companions always, Kanjin thinks that John Jin quite clearly has a wild side. Before the girl can serve herself at all, her companion says he will gladly serve the protagonist now. But the young woman firmly refuses, saying that is indeed her job. The two now start arguing over just who will pour the drink, but the president ultimately ends up doing it himself instead, looking utterly downcast right now. The man says he has truly always dreamed of being a film director. He explains that ever since high school days, he had keenly been looking for opportunities in the film industry now, and participated quite diligently in some independent films too. After making a few failed productions though, he sadly realized he didn't have the true talent for that profession. With that realization, his father offered him the great chance to join the family business now, but he simply didn't want to leave this very industry, so he became a producer, wholeheartedly supporting him there. Kangen says he believes the man will still find true success now, and sincerely encourages him to stay very positive still seated comfortably around the table. So, the intense conversation continues onward, and Taho then says that if this film truly fails badly, his entire company will certainly be at grave risk. He explains clearly that the company is a manufacturing firm then, that produces essential military and police equipment now, and the firm has a truly solid reputation now. His father even gave him some shares within the company, but sadly, he simply cannot sell them now, as those shares are his father's and brother's main livelihood. The man explains further that he invested over 10 million in the film, and he even used his crucial shares as pure collateral. The actress is completely shocked by what she hears suddenly, and Tai says directly that if this production fails completely, his father will soon find out, and that would be disastrous surely. Yu Shen then says that the president was truly bold indeed to take such a risk. They then ask him directly what the company is actually called right now. He plainly says it is Cheetah-Lin Engineering exactly. The artificial intelligence suddenly calls the main protagonist now, and urgently says it has real information about that very company, without simply wasting any time at all. It begins detailing all the data now stored deep in its system, and states that back in 2024 the company produced its final model. Kenjin then asks for some further explanation now, and the AI provides all the vital information it has about the entire company. Curious, he deeply ponders it, how such a well-known company could have fully stopped production after 2024, and he wonders now if it was due to the drug scandal too, set collapse and Minji's kidnapping too, since everything seems deeply connected. Noticing that the young man is rather lost in deep thought, Tao asks if something seems wrong, as he appears a bit upset here. But the young man says the actual problem isn't really with him at all. It's with Mr. Lee. He states that if the movie fails entirely, a man's own shares will completely disappear soon, putting his dear father's company now at such great risk. Tao says that will only truly happen if he loses all his shares too. Nobody might be fired. The company's stocks will remain perfectly safe. Truly understanding finance completely, Kagan says he does not believe the grave situation is that overly simple though. Protagonist states that he has now had suspicions for a few long days now, and believes fully that the accident right on set wasn't natural at all. Tavo then says that after the young man raised his suspicions strongly, the police opened a full investigation right into the incident promptly, and some key debris is still currently being analyzed now. Predicting the future perhaps, Ken state, Jen then says, that forensics will likely conclude that there is simply no definitive evidence here, proving that the incident was orchestrated quite deliberately, raising even more new doubts. The young man says a week ago then, the lead actor of their film was arrested indeed at a party then, is suspicious somehow. Yukin explains how the arrest happened truly, and asks what that exactly has to do with the current production clearly, and the protagonist then explains that the arson was a truly unforeseen incident. that simply wasn't included in anyone's detailed plans. Everyone else there is left in total shock by what they all now hear. He says that because the police thoroughly raided the party fully, the movie fully had to be completely refilmed within just a week truly. Kenjin asks what would have possibly happened if the incident had occurred then, right just before the full movie's official release somehow, or even just perhaps a day before its grand premiere indeed. Pressing further now, he certainly continues, questioning indeed what would have even happened if they had waited until the very eve of the premiere to report. The party table falls truly silent indeed, and the other actors whisper quietly then that the film just wouldn't have made it to theaters at all, or would have been pulled very shortly after its release. Speaking to Tai-ho now, the young man asks if in case the movie fails badly, the current plan is to ask his father directly for help, and he simply confirms it all. The young man states clearly that if this is a setup and the movie fails badly, his own father's very company will also become a target too. With that, both Chu and engineering too wouldn't be at all in a position to help Mr. Lee's film company either, trying indeed to justify himself right now. The president promptly says then he would truly use all his connections, if that were really to happen. But Kenjin then pushes even further forward, asking now if had Minji really been kidnapped at all, Mr. Lee would even be in the right state of mind truly to handle such actions. After all, the man wouldn't just lose 10 billion outright, because clearly the movie simply didn't premiere itself. No. His precious daughter would also be missing now. And of course, the company's stock would plummet instantly too. Concluding, the protagonist then says aloud, that's precisely why Amiji, indeed, was kidnapped suddenly, so that Lee would lose his sanity and control, and the company ultimately would become a clear target itself. Tavo simply says directly. He hadn't exactly planned on bringing the young girl to the set that day, but the young man quickly counters aloud, asking if he wasn't planning surely to go there when the set collapsed itself, stammering nervously. The man then says that of course he was surely going there. Then he finally concludes outright that whoever clearly caused the terrible accident at the filming studio indeed knew for sure that the president surely would be at the location with his daughter too. The shocked actress stands up quickly from the table now and shouts, asking intensely if someone simply collapsed the set purely to hurt her deeply. But the wise young man calmly says the true target was clearly the set itself now. Not her, certainly not. If someone had indeed been injured, it would have surely caused pure chaos, which was what they wanted indeed, to make it much easier to kidnap the little girl now. The protagonist says this. The kidnappers probably thought it a flawless plan completely. Sunny says if they investigate these kidnappers, they should surely be able to find out who is behind this scheme. At the police station now, the officers are quite frustrated with the trio arrested previously. The chief is very angry with their answers, and says precisely that. They claim they had heard the young girl would be at the studio then, which is precisely why they decided to kidnap her quickly. One of them responds saying the girl's father is a billionaire truly, and they thought that precisely by kidnapping the girl, they could easily demand a huge ransom then, and since it was a mountainous area then, the trio believed no one surely would be able to catch them now. But they all now claim not to remember just who told them about the rumor, that the young girl would specifically be there then, only that they surely heard it at a local bar there. The chief orders an immediate investigation into which bar it really was, but the police say they have already thoroughly checked and there's no clear evidence. Back at the very restaurant, Kenyon says that would be exactly the scenario if the movie just failed. The others say it sounds now like an interesting and complex story, and that they truly were completely immersed within it fully, as everyone excitedly talks about how this could make a great screenplay still. Minji's father sits there in deep thoughtful silence now. Later, Yukon leaves that same bar quite cheerful from the drinks he'd had tonight, reflecting deeply on just what happened to him. Tavo says he won't use the company's crucial shares like that ever again. Meanwhile, Kenjin thinks the company must be really strong, cause otherwise now, they certainly wouldn't risk something so incredibly dangerous ever. His complex thoughts are somewhat interrupted by Sunny then, who happily asks if he has time to have another relaxing drink with her. He agrees willingly, but says all three of them should go together later, surely. Latago's father suddenly yells loudly, calling his own son an utter idiot, saying he simply can't believe he used company shares to fund a movie now. Regretful. The man quietly says so. It's a project that could really help the company grow and improve its entire image. Lida Sung Taho's brother now says the company's overall situation isn't truly good. Taho then asked exactly why, since he had certainly heard that Shulin was developing an amazing new product. His brother says that it's because of this point. Someone has truly been trying to interfere with the company's overall bids now. But since their company shares are actually solid now, it seems that the interference has definitely stopped now. Standing directly up, Lee asks then if these people might be behind his daughter's kidnapping. His brother says that some competitors likely made their move, but that some investors looking to acquire the company seem truly suspicious. Before anything really else, the father decides to clarify the entire situation fully, and asks his son if he is absolutely sure the movie truly won't fail. The man clearly says yes, and that all the new footage is now even better than the original initial version. While the elder now thanks the stunt double too. Taeho mentions that thanks to Kanjin, in fact, they were surely able to film everything quite quickly indeed. His father believes that if his own son's company does well now, Chulin is truly protected from any external attacks. And then asks if he's right, agreeing fully. The young man confirms they are protected well, but he also states that he will further reinforce these defenses for sure, before saying a final goodbye. The older man seriously warns that if his dear son touches those shares once again, he will completely disinherit him, before going to his room to now sleep. The young boy sincerely thanks Mr. Kanjin for his great help, but he is soon interrupted sharply by his own father, who states he greatly needs to reward our protagonist, as he helped him quite a lot. However, the young man truly thinks that the boy is already at a level far beyond, where he realistically could offer him simply any position. One of the nice girls working there in the computer area receives now a ticket to watch this very movie, and is gently asked if she possibly wants to attend its premiere too. She initially says she is unsure, mentioning she has little time, while Kanjin calmly assures her that she simply doesn't need to worry about going now. However, she then changes her pretty mind. The other co-workers then ask the boy about their kind invitation, and the protagonist questions whether they will truly not be working quickly. The two respond that new workers have just started at the place, explaining that they are robots which clean everything entirely by themselves. Turning to the movie topic now, everyone comments briefly that they saw the promotional video for this production itself, and found the publicity truly beautiful overall. They say they can skip their part-time job even, to accompany the young man specifically at the movie premiere. But the protagonist believes firmly it is just an excuse quite for them to take a nice break. Later, they wonder who exactly is coming now. They call for Yuken and ask him to look right ahead. The movie actors are taking pictures fully during the production's launch. They ask Shin Un-hye here to make a heart for the photographers there, and the girl complies fully with the specific request. Many celebrities are now at the venue to watch this movie premiere. The blonde girl asks why her good friend is not there with the other actors, and he simply says his face quite does not appear in this movie. Just noticing his close friend's presence now, Yuken greets him from afar there and informs him Kanjin is here. Freaking out now, Ryan believes the actor truly smiled and greeted her, but her friend says he probably did that only for the journalist there. Ian is very happy to see the protagonist there too. Noticing their interaction, the computer guy thinks the woman waved at him. Kenji decides it is indeed time to enter the cinema hall now, but then notices Yunesio is suddenly missing now. Looking around carefully, he sees her talking to the movie's lead actress. Reem suddenly appears right now, asking keenly if her friend is getting an autograph from the girl there. The protagonist also approaches closer, and directly asks if the two young women know each other here. Anna asks how the other young woman actually knows Kanjin, and she quickly says her uncle owns the computer room where the boy works. Quite confused, the nerdy young man asks right there if they are sisters, but SIU replies they clearly have different surnames now. However, it is true they do know each other quite well, as they certainly grew up in the same neighborhood back when they were little. Just talking now to Yuken, Kanjin asks precisely why he acted as if he truly knew him before the reporters. Riem appears incredulous now, upon seeing her own friend speaking so casually with that famous actor. Minji then appears, calling for the snack boy, picking her right up. He asks just how she is, as the girl's parents approach closely, and then say they have saved excellent seats for the special young man there. The stark fact that actress Jamie Jong is their close kin really shakes the very protagonist's surprised friends deeply. He plainly says he already has some tickets now, but Tao asks him now to discard them swiftly, since he actually is one of the production's main lead actors anyway. Happy, the friends wonder now if they should try learning to cook well, so they also can sit so close to some celebrity, of course. Inside the packed cinema hall, the director says quietly he truly would be quite happy if Kanjin went right up on stage for greetings. But the modest young man declines calmly, saying simply he honestly is not an actual actor here. Thoughtful now, the director adds that if it really were not for the boy, they likely would have hardly even finished filming this movie finally. The bright screen lights right up now, and the production begins to play outside slowly. Two people listen closely to the sounds indeed coming from the cinema hall. The two become quite curious and wonder why the audience is gasping all at once now. After the screening concludes, the movie truly ends, and everyone applauds the excellent cinematic work. The eye then says that if it were not for the boy's crucial help, and hers of course, it would truly have been a rather ordinary film overall. Those who watch the movie now say that the 2 full hours flew right by. The next important steps are the greetings up on stage now, and then the insightful interview with director Sun Taemin follows closely, and then the talented actors receiving warm applause from everyone. Those actively involved thankfully thank everyone sincerely for coming here. Sumtai then says now, he surely has something important to confess to the audience about the special project. He says now that the scenes of the set collapsing were indeed very real, and not pure fiction, and they only use real footage of that real accident incident, after properly obtaining absolutely everyone's needed authorization here. Concluding that, of course, naturally, no one was actually hurt otherwise at all. He would never ever have used such crucial material ever indeed. Yahello now believes that public opinion can still worsen even more. But if anything truly happens, he will deal with it after. Then one journalist present there raises his own hand, and asks clearly if they received any treatment then for the incident. He says also that the actress really seemed genuinely shocked here, and even questions whether she suffered any issues specifically because of it. The young woman strongly denies it and simply says she was rescued safely now. They then ask if in the thrilling action scenes it was Kim Yu-chen. And he replies now that if he had filmed them then, he probably wouldn't even be alive anymore right now. He further explains that in some intense scenes, stunt doubles were indeed used in filming. The talented actor states clearly that his stunt double had a similar body to his, which is precisely why he was used further in those action scenes. But he politely asked the journalist to omit this key information from the article, that the article will be published later on. The movie news now appears on the young man's website soon, and a multitude of comments quickly start pouring in now, 2 full days later now. Ryu proudly shows her phone and states that the movie now is ranked #1. Kanjin curiously asks why she treats the movie precisely as if it were hers, and the young woman quickly says she considers the boy as part of her family always. So, naturally, if his things are hers too as well. She then asks why her close friend doesn't become a real actor truly, but he simply says that one single movie is more than enough for him. The young girl appears disappointed surely, saying she honestly thought she could see a celebrity again soon. The protagonist just says he is currently busy with other pressing things, but the curious girl asks if he hasn't been just playing around this whole time. Rio curiously asks exactly what he does in his free time besides cooking as a chef. Without even hesitation now, the young man replies readily that he has a special mission for true Earth unity. Laughing, Taho heartily celebrates with the director the huge success of their movie, and Seo Taeman confidently says he told him everything would indeed work out well. The director now states that he was completely confident. The production certainly would have a very large audience. Happily, the man says that at this fast pace now, he will recover the full 10 million he invested confidently. He says plainly that on the very first day, he almost actually cried since the theaters were quite empty. But now he is very happy already readily thinking about their next movie. The excited director says he is considering definitely hiring stunt doubles on a significantly large scale. But Taho states happily it will be a romance film overall. However, the man states assuredly that if he can certainly count on Kanjin, he will jump straight now into the crucial script writing process soon, suggesting a fresh idea now. Minji's father urges the director to quickly sign the subsequent next movie, with his own company now, guaranteeing that it will also be a phenomenal box office success. Tae now asks if Sam has already spoken directly with Kanjin, and the man says he will certainly attempt it immediately right now. He decides to call the main protagonist at that precise moment now. On the other end of that line now, the young man sees that it is indeed a call from an unknown number there. Nearby right now, they announce that they have brought 2 quite special guests from the movie. Sunny day welcome all of you. Jin and Shin. The Unha Theater too. Around a table now, the radio host now asks how the 2 feel about the massive success of this production. The actor says he is very truly grateful indeed, and that he is receiving many interview and advertisement requests now. The interviewer now asks if the story about the set collapsing is true, and the actress readily confirms it, saying she was saved from being hit directly by a piece of metal. She asks where Yuchin was at the time. Without missing any beat, he says he was taken quickly out of the location before that accident, and that this didn't appear in the movie, specifically because he flew away. The journalist truly is incredulous about this, saying that the stunt actor really is incredible indeed, and seems to have calculated everything in such a short amount of time. And she says the boy definitely is not a professional actor, and that he is merely just the food truck guy. Fusion adds that he jumped onto a moving car, all without being strapped in. With this key information, the journalist says she watched the movie earlier, but didn't see any scene quite like that in the whole production. The 2 then realize they may have said too much now, and the actress firmly says her friend is just talking about unnecessary things now. Changing the topic, a pertinent question arrives from the live audience, asking directly if the video of the car stopping itself was actually just part of the movie's initial promotion. Both actors begin sweating rather nervously now, unsure of precisely how to respond in the ongoing chat. Everyone begins earnestly asking about that unique scene, and especially about how the young man stopped the speeding car. While simply listening to the interview, Tavo really freaks out at the actor for indeed calling him an idiot. Desperate now over what was actually said, the man truly believes he needs an urgent strategy to resolve the overall situation. His trusted employee says they will indeed need to reveal the young man's true identity, earlier than planned, which was originally set precisely for 20 days later.
Hey,
He asked if there is simply no other possible way. But the young man firmly says that if they waste any more time now, the entire situation will then spiral completely out of control now. He then calls Kenjin and clearly explains the issue. But the boy states that this important revelation is already overdue now, since it indeed could have been made on the very day of the accident. More of these. The man thoughtfully says that the protagonist always clearly sees the positive side of all things now, and that now, they simply need to effectively deal with the situation fully. The eye keenly says it will make people view the video as something quite impressive, rather than too serious. And that instead of sadly feeling guilty about Minji. The main focus simply should be on how Kenjin clearly was, carefully asking if the boy is okay and comfortable with that indeed. He says firmly to move forward but carefully not to mention his actual name on the radio of this guide at all, to take a commercial break very soon, and we will return very soon with part 2 of the interview now. Speaking urgently on the phone. The actor apologizes deeply for what happened, desperate now. He says that if there is anything he possibly can do, he will surely do it all to make up for this situation now. He is then ordered sharply to reveal everything about this incident in the most striking way incredibly possible. Taiho is on the other end of the line now. He says calmly there is simply nothing more they can effectively do, since they had indeed already planned to reveal everything fully in 20 days. The young man is clearly instructed to say that the food truck guy handled absolutely everything, and that now, because of all this, it won't seem quite like such a serious accident. He is urgently called back promptly to the studio now, but right before hanging up fully, he confirms quickly he will absolutely not mention the protagonist's name anyway. Back in the main interview, Eugene states he will explain fully what really happened in the actual footage now, since he clearly did not have sufficient time to do so earlier on. The actor states firmly it was a real event that happened directly on the very first day of filming, and that some cruel kidnappers tried to take Minji Lee. Yes, the journalist, yes. Then realizes exactly why the young man had to jump onto the car. It was indeed a truly critical situation. Eugene then explained that the food truck man acted quite quickly to safely save the girl. In the chat, everyone just wonders if the guy is truly human, and just how he survived such a risky action. Many concerned people start asking just who the young man is now, and also how he really managed to do all that. The comments just keep coming and everyone's incredulous completely. The AI just now reports that online information about the movie is growing so rapidly. Kenjin says it's just fine since his name and face were never revealed, but he asked Jin if he actually could go to the real Olympics soon, and the AI says he definitely wouldn't pass the doping test right now. He asked then about baseball, and she responds now that the sport also controls all doping. Tired. The poor boy says he won't do anything else indeed and lies down. But the AI says now, they truly need to change their temporary base to somewhere more stable now. And she adds that any place would be better than that dusty computer room. Thoughtfully, the young man then asks if they could build a completely new base. With the available budget they currently have, Jane happily says that the full payment for the current movie has just arrived. And so the protagonist directly asks just how much he actually received in total now. He's promptly informed that 5,001 has now been deposited into his account. Riem suddenly appears and says that from the moment she first saw the video clip, she immediately thought that the stuntman simply was Canyon indeed. She confidently says she has quite a good eye for recognizing people quickly, and finds this whole intriguing situation very cool indeed. Talking then to her close friend, she asks if he has ever before seen someone who perhaps looks like Canyon now. The young man replies that the person he actually saw was incredibly skilled as well, but states that in any specific case here, they definitely weren't any better than the main protagonist at all, lying there in bed still. The boy says his ears are oddly burning and now wonders what that possibly could mean. A woman enters gently through a door and is warmly welcomed then. It's actress Yeon-ha, truly. And she asks then if this is where Kanjin specifically works. Surprised, the young man there tries now to ask if she is the famous girl, but he is interrupted by a very happy Eun-seo here. She asks now what her friend here is doing there then, and the young woman states she came to talk to the boy there, and also further heard that the store's specific food is quite good. The blonde girl informs her that the friend now is in his room at the exact moment and explains he lives right there, shocking the woman very much with the vital information now. She asks just why he lives there and truly if he doesn't even have a home, but she quickly says he temporarily eats and even sleeps at the actual store, concluding now. She states she even offered him a proper place to stay at her house, but it would be quite strange for a grown man and a woman both to live together. But he completely disagrees now, embarrassed and flustered. The blonde agrees here, saying that Oppa wouldn't possibly be that kind of person. Then she tells her friend that she can go to exactly where he is resting now. She directly approaches and firmly knocks on the specific door, causing the main protagonist to instantly get up there. The young woman then quickly opens up the specific door, leaving the boy quite surprised now by her very presence. Wasting absolutely no time now, she says she came to sincerely apologize for what Yu Chen said on the radio earlier. Kangen says quite firmly that she wasn't the one who said anything, but she says that she also appeared in that very same interview too, and feels quite guilty, stating that even if it wasn't quite true. Yushen is probably getting scolded sternly by Rose now. Tired now. The young man asks curiously if she came all the long way there just to say that, but Yunha then says she also came because she heard that the food was quite delicious here, frustrating the girl's carefully laid plans now. The protagonist then says they are not even serving food that very day, because he states he is leaving, and he states also that he is looking now for a new place to live, since that current room is indeed not ideal now. Quite curious. The actress asks him why he is truly living there, but the boy cuts her off, firmly saying he has his own reasons determined. She impulsively says she will go with him then, and that it will be truly nice to have someone willingly helping him choose. Later, the two are curiously inside a house that only has a refrigerator, and an old air conditioner there too. Even he is startled now to see that it is just a small studio here, and asks directly if the stunt double didn't even receive his full payment. The girl truly doesn't understand how someone with such great skills like him stays in a computer room and now even wants to live in a small studio place. She then asks exactly how much he got for being part of the movie at all, and says clearly she will help him find a far better place without hiding away now. He firmly replies that he actually earned 5 million instead, completely leaving the girl utterly speechless too. Quickly now she grabs her personal phone and calls someone up fast. On the other ringing end of the line is Taho's very own wife indeed, who directly asks why exactly she's even calling her like this. The woman also asks sharply if she is truly calling to plead for Yushin now. Yemen has says clearly she will not comment on someone's important decision now, and the woman declares she will simply let him fully survive then. All at once now the girl honestly says she is calling now, because clearly she thinks the amount her dear friend received for the movie is definitely wrong, still unaware of the wider situation at all. The woman quickly says the young man surely should have honestly earned more though, and also that she will definitely check then with Lee to see precisely what happened. Right after that call, the actress suggests that she and her friend continue looking now for even better places around. While still waiting for the woman's quick response on the street, Yunho now walks covered up well to avoid being recognized there nearby. Meanwhile now, Sumbat talks candidly to her husband, and then says that he only paid 5 million to that young man, who bravely saved the movie, and Taho is quite surprised too. He then says that director Sun was very busy indeed with the film, and simply did not inform them that there were any changes in this recording. The two friends keep looking at the apartment still. In the meantime now, Tavalo clearly says the payment department just quickly processed the recorded amount, but clearly given the young man's fine work, that original amount is truly unacceptable now, so he recalculated the actual value as a stunt coordinator instead, rather than just a simple stunt double this time. That way indeed, he finally decides to transfer 100 million instantly to the young man. At these apartments, the girl simply says the deposit is 5 million, and that the rent overall is good for that certain price. Besides this, it has quite a beautiful view too. And also, the AI there tells the boy that he will surely be able to see enemies from afar. How curious. The girl asks what the young man will then do with all the rest of his money. Jean fully suggests he should buy a car perhaps. Kanjin says that he truly needs a vehicle now. And then the actress suggests a place that she considers good. Not quite understanding this, the young man asks the girl why exactly she wants to help him out. And then he directly asks if she perhaps likes him now. The young girl gets quite embarrassed now. She asks what the boy is even trying to say and yells at her close friend, saying that the question is frankly ridiculous. She says firmly that she is an actress, and that her busy schedule simply allowed her to be free that one day. So everything else was purely just a coincidence, really. Irritated and quite shouting, she firmly says she would help the young man even if they were merely friends. Clearly noticing the young woman's heated reaction, the boy then says he was merely joking and thanks her for the kind help, but Yunhwa is still quite upset by his words, and she then says she really didn't help him at all. Just to hear something like that from him now. The artificial intelligence then makes a quick comment, and the protagonist firmly tells it to just shut up right now, but the actress mistakenly thinks he was actually talking to her instead. Then Yoon-hee says she really wants to talk about the day of the accident itself. She says that if she sadly had been hit by the steel beam then, she certainly could have been incredibly seriously injured there, but he fully saved her. Otherwise she would truly not be alive at this moment. Thoughtful, she says she always just thought she was fine with the whole situation, but when she was all alone, she then started realizing some things indeed. When she went straight home finally, she kept deeply thinking about what happened, and her heart raced fast. The young woman says this really had never happened before then, but since that fateful day, she has actually been very anxious indeed. She reveals now that the accident constantly kept appearing in her bad dreams, and that simply being close to the young man truly makes her feel quite safe. After ultimately finishing her heartfelt confession, she fully realizes then that Kanjin wasn't listening to her at all. The two characters love this car dealership place. Yana gets irritated a bit when she sees that he wants a car just like that one. She says aloud that there are many better cars in the place here, and she doesn't quite understand why he wants that piece of old junk really. The salesman readily says that the young woman is right indeed, and that the car in question is truly not very good here, since there are several things that definitely could not be repaired on it. The actress then calls her dear friend and says this: she will surely take a much better look at other cars nearby. Before finally leaving, Kanjin asks to take one look at that initial vehicle now. He asks the AI if he himself could repair the car, and she confidently says yes. Assessments continue onward, and he notes the model is from the year 2000 here, while the impressive AI is actually from 2082 exactly, making it quite an 82-year-old model essentially. But Jean quickly tells him not to worry at all now, since she surely has manuals for cars up to 100 years old now. With that, Kangen states he likes it much, and will take that specific car soon, truly surprising him. The salesman there. The boy then is advised that the car isn't in the best shape currently. But surprisingly, he asks for a lower price now. He decides then to negotiate more with the salesman now, much to Yeon's utter dismay later indeed. He asks the AI if truly it wouldn't be better to just fix the car in the garage of his brand new apartment. But Jin sternly warns that the neighbors would quickly get suspicious, so she decides quickly to search for a location where the repairs can be done. Using her advanced database quickly and efficiently, she finds a closed junkyard and Kanjin immediately asks where she found it. Jane calmly explains that she diligently collects important information, while closely accompanying the young boy. She instructs him now to take all the parts he needs promptly, and then effectively repair the vehicle now. Arriving quickly now at the old junkyard, a young man is accompanied by Yoonha, who asks aloud what this strange place is. Annoyed clearly, she questions why he brought the old car there now, but the boy gently asks her not to speak quite like that anymore. The girl refuses outright to accept it and boldly asks then if maybe her friend is making a new horror movie and didn't even tell her about it, which is clearly why he brought her here today. Both of them enter a door, and a mechanic's workshop is revealed inside. Curious now, she asks if the protagonist is indeed serious about this, and questions if he's really going to try and fix the car right there. She further questions whether he actually knows how to work as a mechanic, and if he doesn't exactly need a specific mechanic's license for this. But Kenjin claims Neo teaches anything freely, indeed without stopping ever. The girl begins imagining different scenarios where the whole car explodes suddenly, but the boy simply asks her exactly why. She assumes she will be riding in his newly fixed car once again later. She curiously asks what this odd place actually is, and the young man casually says it's just a simple junk shop. He explains he rented the whole place for a year so he could use it fully. Putting on his gloves, he looks at the girl, who doesn't quite understand now. Without hesitation, he asks if Un plans to follow him all day long perhaps. His direct words irritate the famous actress, and she sharply says she is definitely not following the boy. It was, in fact, he who brought her right here. Frustrated, she states she will leave him alone, and if he gets bored then, it's not really her problem. But there is absolutely no transportation nearby here. Yan says she will easily call her manager to pick her up shortly, but sadly, there is just no signal on her phone at all, since they are truly in the middle of these remote mountains. Realizing now she is completely stuck there indeed, she becomes even more scared. Incredibly nervous now. Kanjin then slowly closes the heavy door, and he says he has been planning this whole situation for a while, and asks why the poor girl thinks he brought her out here. The frightened girl starts screaming loudly, saying she's definitely not ready for this situation at all. But the main protagonist tells her now to just be quiet, and orders her directly to help him fix the broken car. John Giant now teaches the protagonist to repair the car's engine, sitting quietly down, so shy. Lunhana claims now that the boy is simply provoking her too much, and in immediate response he says her shocked reaction was funny indeed. Curious now, the brown-haired girl asks him if he shouldn't now be noting the exact order of the parts down carefully, while he's carefully disassembling the whole engine here, because in some movie she just watched on TV, a character didn't do that. And sadly everything went wrong then. The confident young man says he truly remembers all the steps. Impressed, the young woman states his memory is quite incredible, while the AI within his body claims that the compliment should be especially for her. Closing the car hood, Nakang announces with finality that he is now done, and his companion questions aloud how that's truly possible, since only a mere hour has actually passed by. Pointing his finger directly, the boy orders her now to sit in the driver's seat for one test, but the young woman refuses, just to fully convince her. He firmly says that he calculated precisely everything, and completely did the repair perfectly indeed, so she can certainly trust that nothing will explode inside the car now. The young woman is so surprised at how quiet the engine sounds too, and states that she thought the boy was really only good at fighting mostly, and cooking smugly too. He responds now that he is truly impressive in every single way. She and Hayden asks just why he rented the warehouse for one whole year, if he has definitely already fixed the entire car now. Thinking to himself silently, the boy says that if the apartment he found now in Seoul is actually the base of his very life, Indeed, the workshop will be the main production base for him now, to quickly manufacture the necessary equipment for all his missions. But to the young woman, he simply says she doesn't even need to know. This leaves her quite irritated. She then asks directly where they are going, and the young boy says he will indeed take her home now, especially since she didn't bring her own personal car today. Turning sharply to him, the young woman says that in such a case, she actually has one major favor to urgently ask of him. She then urgently asks if he could swiftly install a smart lighting system in her house. Flatly refusing, the boy firmly tells her straight. Go ask your own parents, he says, quite insistently now. She quickly retorts, saying that both of them currently live quite far away now, and that her younger brother is unfortunately very ignorant on such matters. Unbothered completely, the young man simply says she can call someone else, directly appealing now to the boy's softer emotions. She urgently says she needs true help because she is truly scared. Moreover, even more so, every single night she has the same terrible dream which doesn't let her fully sleep at all. Carefully listening to every bit of the conversation intently, the AI tells the young man now that this is common among soldiers in war zones now, and it could perhaps be a form of PTSD then. Out loud, the boy says quite clearly, rescuing civilians is simply a basic mission of the Earth Union Army itself, leaving the young woman truly quite confused. Looking directly at her, he says he will gladly help her at the apartment quite soon. McKagan announces aloud that he is completely finished, handing the young woman now her newly fixed phone. He asks her then to test it out. Obeying quickly, she is greatly impressed to see now that it really works indeed, twisting a strand of her lovely hair around her fingers, so she genuinely thanks the boy now heading toward the door. He says he is leaving soon, but the young woman asks him now to wait. Then she curiously asks now if he isn't at all hungry. She plans to make a wonderful meal so he can gladly stay and eat, so, blushing slightly, the young woman then says that since she already owes him 2 favors thus, she can't reasonably ask him to cook now as well, and giving up entirely on cooking now. She says she knows a great restaurant where the skilled chef is Ju Chul Woods now. Appeared on television. John Giant quietly says now, this is indeed a great opportunity to learn even more about local culture, and carefully gather further information. Covering his mouth gently, the boy quietly says the AI just simply wants to eat quickly, while he himself stays silent, slightly embarrassed right now. Smiling gently, he tells the young woman politely that the food there had indeed better be better than his. Definitely. In front of Penelope restaurant promptly, Shayona gets quickly out of the car softly, stating clearly that the place is quite famous indeed, so naturally it's not always easy to secure a reservation there. The young man simply asks if she has one now, and in direct response she quickly confirms it all, saying gently she made the reservation just the night before now. The boy adds he thought it seemed hard to get a spot, but she responds that for someone just like her, it surely isn't, since she's so hot, trending and ultra-beautiful indeed as an actress. Entering the fancy place, she also frankly says too, that she has filmed various TV programs with the restaurant's main chef there, simply noticing something quite different now. The boy then asks who exactly she planned to invite, since she made that very reservation the night before too, leaving her rather embarrassed, then not understanding really anything. Nakang! And he asks then why they are at a cafe instead of going directly to the restaurant. She is explaining here the dynamics of a typical date. The young woman clearly states that first of all, the couple truly should chat at a cafe until they both feel hungry though. Thinking then to himself, the boy then says that the mere fact that his information is indeed in the databases now means he once surely had a normal past life. But then, why ultimately would he be here instead of in the Earth Union Army of 2082 clearly? Interrupting greatly his deep thoughts, the brown-haired young woman just decides to call the fancy restaurant, to request now a table right by the window over there. However, right on the rather other end of the phone line, someone suddenly states clearly that she doesn't actually have a reservation, leaving the poor woman extremely angry. With tears in her sad eyes, she hangs up then, and explains that someone indeed more important showed up and just took her spot, quite unbothered by the whole situation. The boy calmly says he can cook guppap for both of them now. Still furious and upset, the young woman firmly refuses, asking him just to stay right where he is now, while she quickly checks how truly important this other VIP really is. Sipping his hot coffee, the boy now talks to the egg, which cheerfully says the delicious drink is indeed yummy. Down in the building's busy lobby, the security guard notices the blinds. Moving to his utter panic, a group of masked robbers quickly appears. One of them swiftly runs up and kicks the poor man in the gut. Then he states that their main target is Penelope, who he confirms is on the 7th floor right now, so everyone on all the other floors must be carefully controlled. At the fancy restaurant, Shin Yonha loudly yells at the chef, asking exactly how he could possibly do that to her now. The apologetic man simply apologizes, but then says that a very important last-minute reservation just came up. So since she unfortunately was the last person to make a reservation, there was clearly nothing he could truly do, especially because her reservation was non-official at all. Indignant, the young woman says that in that case then, I truly should have warned her earlier on. In response, The man says he thought the staff had done so already, promising that if she returns the next day soon, she will definitely receive special treatment then. But the young woman says she won't be able to bring her guest tomorrow then, since she truly won't have any excuse for it now, sitting now at the table that was supposed to be hers instead. A man in a suit talks directly to Hyun, who says over the phone calmly that he will not attend soon. The man in the brown suit says that now he will have to eat alone sadly. In response then, the other suggests he call his wife or someone else indeed. Apologizing sincerely for the inconvenience there, he ends the call now, and the brown-haired man sighs quite deeply, because eating alone simply is not something he likes or is used to now. Looking slightly to the side now, he notices Shin Yoon has a presence there and approaches her now. Leaving her clearly surprised, he asks if she came alone tonight, but the young woman clearly says she has company now, even though her reservation was cancelled prior. Lee Taho says that's quite good, leaving the young woman intrigued. Explaining clearly, he says that his guest cancelled out, forcing him to eat all alone, but now he can join the young woman and really make hang. After all, 3 people is better indeed than 2. The chef agrees well, saying that the table was hers anyway. Still on the lower floor, the young man goes on enjoying his coffee still, asking John Jian to chemically analyze this. Just what makes this unique drink so different from all the ones served at his workplace perhaps. But then the AI states that information input is only truly possible through the agent's body. Looking down at his phone, the young man notices that the young woman hasn't responded for some time, which is curious. The AI asks then if he really prefers beef soup over these gourmet restaurant dishes indeed, but he says he was only just being polite here. Responding now, the machine says she didn't know he was polite then, and the young man there says she must have a bug for being rebellious. Concerned, the protagonist looks over now at the clock and realizes it has been a full 20 minutes since his friend left. Suddenly, the AI announces an anomaly has now been detected. This is because all nearby smartphones have completely lost signal. The young man then asks if there's another anomaly nearby too. In response, the calm AI says that the first 4 blinds are closed tight, as well as both the entrance and all emergency doors nearby. To better understand, Nick Hanging speaks and says calmly, they need to hear just what people on that floor are indeed saying, using his own special ability to enhance all his hearing. The young man soon confirms that this whole thing is not a fire, so he must go downstairs soon to check much more closely. His partner now warns that armed individuals have been spotted on the 2nd floor, seeing clearly 3 men through the very wall now. The young man states that using weapons in Korea is already fully crossing the line. The AI directly orders him now to retreat as the enemy is approaching, but this whole place has only just one single door. As an alternative plan, John suggests breaking the cafe window quickly and jumping out fast. Fearing the potential fall, the young man initially refuses then, but the AI informs him he is on only the 2nd floor still, so he likely won't get too hurt in this restaurant's fall. The armed robbers break violently down the entrance door, shooting wildly at the shelves, indeed causing utter panic quickly. Then one of them urgently demands that everyone remains completely silent, stating clearly that anyone who screams will be eliminated immediately now. Lee Tae-ho appears with his hands up high then, asks what exactly is happening and if this is some kind of setup here. But upon looking closely at the chef's terrified face now, he quickly concludes that it definitely is truly not then. Shin Il-minho urgently asks what precisely they should do in response. The man replies they need to stay perfectly calm and fully do as told. So everyone inside the room begins moving silently to a corner now, extremely nervous. The young woman says that knocking surely is on the 2nd floor. Worrying, the man in the plain brown suit grabs her mobile phone away. She urgently says that if she calls the young man now, he truly will come to rescue them all. But suddenly now, a gun is pointed right at her head. The robber right next to her says phones are strictly forbidden here. And furthermore, there is no signal available anyway now. Frightened greatly, the young woman raises both her hands, sweating very nervously now, as she fearfully moves herself to the corner of the room then, as the robber ordered, utterly afraid now. The president then says that, no matter how very strong the young man is, against a gun, there's simply nothing at all he can truly do here. Meanwhile, our hero still remains on the 2nd floor above, analyzing the idea indeed of breaking the window to make an escape. However, he's remembering his crucial mission, to bravely rescue all civilians for the United Earth Alliance. He firmly states that retreating is absolutely not an option now. Suddenly, part of this gang of robbers fully invades the cafe itself, ordering absolutely everyone to raise their hands high and stay still now. Observing, the customers all wonder if this could be a flash mob, or perhaps something somehow related to an internet stream online, infuriating the group's hardened leader now. Taking a drastic measure, the man shoots one of the display cases there, making everyone fully realize this was truly no joke now. With his very hands up, McKagan asked the AI to identify the precise weapon being used, obeying promptly. The assistant says that the weapon is semi-automatic, a 9mm, equipped with a high-performance suppressor too, besides having also a noise reduction module. The young man concludes now that, with such advanced equipment, the robbers must also indeed be highly skilled, sensing the great danger. John Giant states firmly that the young man should retreat immediately now, but he refuses, saying clearly that this is not a very smart decision. The eye now asks what his real reasons are for refusing to leave. Thinking deeply, he says that since his friend has returned, the 7th floor must have simply been taken over first here. Upstairs now. The young woman deeply hopes he doesn't come, and the president beside her says that if he actually shows up, he'll certainly be eliminated. Looking at a woman in green being held hostage there by the robbers, the man coldly states that she is indeed the true target, meaning that they themselves truly are not important at all. The woman we speak of is Scarlett Kelly indeed. She's the CEO and head of research at OMGACH Company, a quite famous American technology company indeed now. Smiling, Shin Yunha asks now if that company is much like Apple, but the man quickly denies it aloud, saying that the woman's very company develops military weapons also. It is then revealed that Li Tao's own father is the CEO of Iron Man Tech, which manufactures all sorts of military and police equipment. So then when his dear brother, Li Tao-sung, learned that Scarlett would be there at the restaurant tonight, he asked him to simply make a reservation for them all. Since he owns quite a well-known company in the entire film industry, he contacted the chef quickly and secured a prime spot, but now his own brother isn't here, and only he is in grave danger. Curious now, the young woman inquires if it is then a dispute among arms dealers truly. One of the armed robbers overhears the tense conversation now, and sternly warns that if they make any more extra noise now, they will all be taken right out, pointing the deadly gun at the red-haired woman there. The cold gang leader demands that she fully give up the access code now, so she can be spared. Truly, because no matter how much she loves her money, if she has simply no life, she won't be able to even use it. Without revealing the code first, the brave woman asks how much he is being paid to do all this, stating firmly that whatever the amount, she will double the sum, so they can end this without anyone truly getting hurt. Laughing aloud, the cruel robber rejects the grand offer, and boldly says he isn't doing this for the money at all. Kelly then defiantly says he can do whatever he desperately wants, but she resolutely will not reveal the crucial code, ordering the stubborn woman to simply start walking now. The menacing man says he surely will test whether that's indeed true. Pointing directly at the hostages, he cruelly says he can truly make them all suffer, leaving the red-haired woman very understandably apprehensive then. On the 2nd floor above, John Giant quietly says she detected a pair of unusual noises from directly above, which quite possibly might be actual gunfire. The quick young man urgently asks if the strange noise is coming from the 7th floor high above. In response, the calm AI states it's coming from the 3rd floor directly up, and indeed she also heard glass distinctly breaking. Thinking silently to himself now, the young man now wonders what could have caused them to fire guns twice now, then concluding robbers must be threatening people badly. Behind the closed blinds, hidden right behind him there, a desperate little boy starts to cry aloud now, and the robbers grow ever irritated too. Ask the worried mother if she cannot keep him quiet, please. Kneeling gently in front of her child, the woman pleads now, telling him to calm down as mommy is here. Furious, a gang member points his gun clearly and states that, if this noise continues on, everyone will surely be eliminated indeed. Trying hard to prevent a great tragedy here, the young man from the future quickly jumps onto a table and says he is actually a police officer looking back bravely. The masked man is clearly startled by this, striking a combat pose bravely. The young man apologizes now, and says he's not used to getting so much true attention. Then he immediately clearly states that shooting someone just for crying isn't something a human being does. Raising his fierce gun again, the man orders him to be really quiet. His dangerous accomplice follows closely suit now, asking now if the young man thinks they won't dare shoot, just because he's now standing in front of the window glass here. But just before the robber can pull the trigger though, the young man swiftly appears right behind him now, landing a precise sharp kick with his powerful leg. With the strong impact, the gun flies away onto the hard ground. The main man orders the others to quickly subdue the young man now. Another gang member fires off multiple shots but misses every single one clearly. The advanced AI informs the young man that the cafe's window is indeed bulletproof. So therefore, those bullets can't penetrate through it now. With such great agility, he moves behind a sturdy table for proper cover, while those robbers keep firing non-stop still, using only his bare body in a canyon now. Runs fast, and strikes the other robbers who also fall straight to the ground hard. However, even so at this moment, one of them still manages to quickly fall, seemingly hitting him directly fortunately. The AI keenly calculates the bullet's precise trajectory clearly, and he smartly manages to dodge it by flipping high in midair quickly. Shocked deeply, the robber keeps shooting wildly, saying strongly that he won't be able to dodge all the bullets to really stop him indeed. The young man lands another powerful hit, and the man truly passes out cold. Watching the intense scene unfold, the other hostages are completely stunned now by what just happened there. Everyone abruptly starts screaming out loud, thanking the brave young man for saving them all. Catching him off guard slightly, the children in the room excitedly run toward him now. The little ones asked him then if he is a hero for being able to do all of that now. The AI is noticing one of the robbers down on the ground now, with strawberry juice spilling everywhere. Warns that this grim scene is not good for the children's mental health at all, making the young man quickly rush to cover the disturbing scene now. Looking right at him, The children innocently ask what he is doing, trying to play it off calmly. He says it's nothing they need to worry about now, with the stolen weapons clearly in his possession. His assistant bravely states that he can now get all of the people out of there safely, but the quick young man wisely says it's still too dangerous to do so now, because other watchful robbers might be still outside carefully keeping watch. Thus, the intelligent young man quickly concludes that he first needs to turn this entire floor into a secure fortress here, in order to protect all the scared civilians. Moving silently, only then can he ensure the safety of the people there on the 7th floor now. Removing the robbers' masks quickly, he notices they appear to be foreigners, of the very same ethnicity, so the real plan must be to take something here and then escape abroad. Seeing that their firepower is still quite low, the AI orders him to actually hand the weapons to the civilians nearby. Surprised completely, the young man questions how the AI knows this is the right move to make. In quick response, she says that basic tactics are already stored, picking up just one of the weapons there. The young man asks if at least 2 people here know how to handle it properly. 4 people then raise their hands high. John Giant warns that there may be spies amongst the group here, so he must choose carefully now to make his informed decision. The young man then asks about the volunteers' backgrounds. Based on this info, he decides to give 2 of the 4 men a weapon, because both of them have small children, meaning it is quite unlikely that infiltrators would have brought their little kids to do something like this here. Then, quite firmly, he informs them that he will check all the other floors, while the other 2 men stand guard duty there, giving further clear instructions now. He specifically asks that the 2 not hand over the weapons to absolutely anyone, and also, crucially, not let anyone enter except the real police alone. Searching all of the tied-up robbers closely, Nick hanging carefully picks up a radio device that appears to have been modified specifically for short-range communications clearly. Suddenly, a disembodied voice comes from the small device, saying they distinctly heard a noise and asking urgently what's happening there. Using the adroitly located, the resourceful young man alters his voice remarkably to sound just like the masked man actually, with a notable rabbit face then indeed, explains calmly to the other person there on the crackling line clearly that he was simply disciplining someone there who wasn't following direct orders. The other shaken hostages are visibly shocked now by the abrupt voice change itself, asking quietly for total silence now. He requests that another robber simply come upstairs slowly, to clearly show everyone around that there are definitively more than just those 3 of them, and now proceeding forward carefully with the complex plan. He pointedly asks if anyone there present has perhaps a compact mirror somewhere. A young woman steps forward now saying she has one right now. Smiling gently, he thanks her kindly. Outside the quiet cafe, the young man observes just how professional these robbers truly are, as they even deactivated every elevator completely. Suddenly his assistant warns him there is movement on the very first floor, then activates full combat mode instantly, climbing swiftly up the stairs now. One of the robbers tells another he will check what happened upstairs. Listening closely to the tense conversation, the young man concludes quickly that these robbers haven't known each other for very long truly, so someone truly important must have gathered them for this operation alone, and that secretive leader must certainly be on the 7th floor now. Seeing a robber rapidly approaching, the young man swiftly attacks now, and with a single powerful blow knocks the man instantly unconscious. Looking quickly through the nearby mirror, he sees a calm security guard walking slowly, concluding quickly that the man is also surely a robber. So, using all of his agility, he fiercely attacks again with his fist. Curious, John Julian keenly asks how he knew the man was an enemy. In swift response, the young man says he clearly saw the radio. He was carrying it, eagerly trying to earn some praise now. The AI then says that if she hadn't firmly interfered, the powerful punch simply wouldn't have been effective at all. The quick young man then tells her she's utterly amazing, then politely asked her to just stop talking now. Returning swiftly back to the cafe, the quick young man takes the 2 tied-up robbers to the corner, where the others are, turning his focused attention to the real security guard, who was unfortunately found unconscious on the floor. The 2 men standing guard with weapons now say they can leave, but the determined young man firmly says it's just not possible, because besides just the powerful weapons, the dangerous gang might have planted terrible traps like landmines at the entrance. Additionally, too, the shutter button in the security room isn't fully working either. So, to fix it, he bravely will have to go to the control room upstairs, shocking the 2 fearful men with his raw courage. Reaching quickly the 3rd floor now, the AI still reports that no one is there. All rooms locked tight now, just exactly like on the 4th floor too, where disturbingly there are no breathing sounds at all, only the faint sound of sparks coming from behind a slightly open door. Quickly looking through the crack in the old door, the young man realizes he has surely found the main control room, but sadly it is completely destroyed indeed, making it quite difficult to call urgently for help now. Recapping quickly the robbers' recent movements, McKagan concludes firmly that Shin Yonha is clearly not their target. His astute assistant quickly agrees now, saying calmly that the young woman is not really a strategic target at all, but suddenly the young man reprimands him sharply now. Outside of the large building, one of the keen guards among the robbers notices a police car approaching fast. Standing now, He wonders just what they are doing here, if truly no one could possibly have called for help now. Picking swiftly up the radio, he urgently informs the others that they have unexpected company on the 7th floor now. 2 sharp gang members listen quite attentively to the vital information. One of them swiftly switches channels urgently to ask if someone from the cafe indeed managed to call and alert all the authorities. Listening intently, the young man from the future smiles faintly, as he now prepares himself fully to answer the crucial question, then stating clearly that while they were boldly taking over the place, some panicked people were making calls, quickly exchanging frantic messages. So someone just may have indeed managed to inform someone else quickly about precisely what was currently happening. The main gang leader then urgently switches channels to speak clearly with the lookout on the 1st floor, instructing him firmly to tell all the police quickly that the building is currently undergoing necessary renovation, and that everyone located there was firmly asked to leave. Also in secure possession of the 1st floor guard's personal radio, the brave, heroic young man responds well to the strong command, feeling considerably more at ease just now. The cold robbers on the upper floor state firmly that even if the police arrive, they simply won't be able to enter there without a proper warrant. Turning his sharp attention directly back now to Scarlet, the anxious woman asks urgently exactly who the strange man is. He chillingly replies that if she were truly meant to know, he wouldn't be wearing such a mask right now, then stating firmly that anyone who sees his face is eliminated immediately now. Intensely pressuring the red-haired woman right there, the robber again urgently demands the code now, saying that this way, indeed, she will walk out of here unharmed surely, just exactly like her secretary Jessica too, with absolutely no way out at all. The woman says that the codes are Prometheus indeed, Ouroboros and Pandora. Then she orders the men to let them go free, but to her misfortune now, the leader says they will verify them first indeed. Surprised completely, she asks how since the communication lines were cleanly cut. In chilling response, the robber says they have other means for sure. Picking up the radio directly then, he relays those 3 codes precisely to one of the men outside the building then, and asks him to check them. But Kelly interrupts boldly and says the codes are wholly fake. As swift punishment, the gang leader fires promptly, but not actually at the woman. He shoots a bottle of wine there instead. Even so, the secretary faints completely then. Panicked wholly, the red-haired woman starts loudly screaming now. Meanwhile, chillingly, the robber states that playtime is indeed over right now. Outside the cafe now, a police officer asks his partner if he's quite sure it isn't just a prank. The other man confirms, saying the tip he received is indeed legitimate. Approaching the building itself, they look at the cafe windows closely, which are completely covered with clear signs asking desperately for help. However, one of the officers states firmly that they really should leave now, as this whole thing must just be a cruel hoax. Despite his strong concerns, the other obeys him, so both quickly get into the car and leave the area fast. Relieved, the watching robber outside quietly watches the car drive quickly away. Picking up his radio quickly, he informs the leader that the police have now left. In terse response, the leader tells him firmly to keep watching closely indeed, holding Scarlet's pale face. The leader observes she looks truly exhausted now, then stating simply that she only really has one more chance now, before he ultimately decides to bring this whole thing to a bitter end. Shin Yonha and Lee Tae-ho carefully observed the dire situation closely, but sadly failed to grasp the true gravity of exactly what is really happening. Meanwhile, back down on the cold, hard ground, the red-haired woman looks sadly at her unconscious assistant on the road now. One of the officers still inside the leaving car finally asks why they are leaving when it's quite clear something bad is really wrong. In direct response, the older man then says, it's because they wouldn't truly be able to resolve the dire situation now, as sadly, the entire building has been completely taken over, so they must act very wisely here to avoid making things much worse. And pretending nothing has happened at all is part of this crucial plan. Thus, picking up his nearby radio then, they urgently call for reinforcements now. A few moments later now, people inside a plain white van begin to discuss the hostage's identity. Looking at a list now, a concerned group of 4 men there realizes sadly that there are some very important people in the building, making this already dire situation even more severely complicated. Upon clearly hearing the specific name Shin Unha now, one of them is visibly in immediate shock. Everyone now wonders just why these important people had to be in the same place on this particularly fateful day. Another man calmly responds that it must be because of Chef Ojucho's amazing food. Clearly concerned indeed, one of the worried team members states that the media will be quite ruthless if any of these VIP celebrities get severely hurt now, so they need to quickly handle the intense situation as efficiently as humanly possible. Upon arriving at the large building now, 2 of the men move quickly to the rooftop of the building across the busy street, and then inform the captain of their secured positions right right at the entrance indeed. The captain urgently orders everyone to immediately retreat, due to a powerful explosive device placed right at the heavy door, located inside the armored van. The brown-haired young man then asks what they will exactly do in response now. The captain says it's now fully in the skilled hands of counter-terrorism forces. All they now can do is wait patiently for them to arrive and fully secure the entire perimeter. Up on the 7th floor now, one of the nervous robbers informs the stern leader that Special Forces units, police have now arrived on scene. So, the tense leader states firmly that they all must proceed quickly with well-prepared Plan E now. Obeying quickly, one of the henchmen points his dark gun at Li Tao directly and orders him sternly to come along immediately. Panicked, the president asks nervously why, especially so suddenly this moment. Pointing the cold gun directly at Shin Eun-ha there, the robber warns all that he will go downstairs now to clearly deliver a critical message. Unless, of course, he wants to be eliminated completely right there soon. Trying hard to save himself, the man in the brown suit quickly says aloud that the young woman is definitely not his girlfriend. Terrified now, the young actress wonders deeply what exactly is happening, while desperately pleading silently for help there in her mind. On the grand staircase, Nikahan keenly questions how many members the gang actually has, to have been able surely to set so many traps on each single floor. Suddenly, many voices start echoing clearly from the steps just above. The robbers are coming down quickly with the president now, while threatening even to eliminate the helpless actress, the future hero's close friend hiding carefully behind a door there. The young man positions himself well to continue observing all, warning loudly now about the deadly traps. One of the robbers menacingly says that the man in brown will go first now, scaring him even more. Sweating extremely nervously then, he starts descending those dangerous steps very slowly here, and just as he reaches the very last step now, he hears a mysterious woman's voice coming from an open door indeed. He then carefully approaches to see just who might be inside that room, slowly descending more stairs. The shocked robbers question just where all the traps they planted have gone now, with a subtle hand gesture too. Nikahan quietly signals the president to not reveal his presence just yet. Surprised, the man realizes that it was the young man's voice there, and he notices that the young man has a very different expression now. The robbers indeed get closer now, saying that whoever is actually there just needs to be taken down completely, so they can truly move on. The eye alerts him that an enemy is approaching him, and the young man swiftly strikes with speed, catching the robber completely and totally off guard here. Falling hard to the ground, the robber accidentally shoots one of his own allies now, but fortunately, the man was wearing his bulletproof vest right then. Quickly realizing the entire situation, the young man grabs the fallen gun instantly and fires rapidly at a spot not protected by the heavy vest. Then sprinting swiftly, he begins attacking all the others right behind him. The man in the brown suit watches everything unfold with his mouth wide open quite literally. Then he asks himself if the young man could be his girlfriend now, instead of Shin Eun-ha perhaps. But the young man firmly declines that strange offer, writhing intensely in pain and completely defeated thoroughly. The beaten robbers look up weakly at the two from the cold floor. Nakagan then asks the eye about the other gang members now, but she replies that she hasn't detected any further threats at all. Turning his keen attention directly to Li Tao now, the young man directly asks if he came from the 7th floor indeed, and the worried man confirms thus without delay. The young man inquires about the current grave situation there. The concerned man explains the robbers changed their dark plans, and now desperately want a quick getaway car, which he himself was supposed to quickly arrange right now. Suddenly, the tense gang leader speaks over the static radio, having clearly heard screams throwing the man in brown suit into panic, cleverly mimicking the distinct voice of one robber now. The young man now reports 2 hostages were on the 5th floor, but he states the dangerous situation has been resolved quite swiftly. But the quick young man responds there was a cleverly hidden passage, quickly noticing the subtle voice change at once. The president asks how this young man can possibly do that, handing the young man a much-needed bulletproof vest. The young man confidently states that voice mimicry is his true specialty, then asking further about Shay Anha there. The president then states that the young woman was fine indeed, but surely under quite heavy surveillance now. John Giant comments quickly that they have probably realized she is quite a celebrity, fearing something bad might happen to his friend here. The future hero now declares that he will go directly up to the 7th floor then, and the man then says he will come go too quickly, because besides truly being armed now, he is also known as a former army sergeant before. The young man directly asks what his specific role was in the military then. In response then, the man says he was part of the public relations division, so the young man just refuses now to take him along at all. That tells him clearly that all he simply needs to do is keep a close eye on the unconscious robbers, and if they suddenly wake up, just grab quickly the gun and just shoot. Upstairs now, the gang leader screams out while demanding the urgent code. Scarlet replies firmly that she will never ever reveal it at all, even if this directly costs her dear life itself. Now furious, the man points his revolver right at the frightened woman there, warning her fiercely that if that's truly what she wants now, so be it. Quite suddenly now, 2 of his subordinates are truly thrown aside harshly. Surprised, he then looks toward the entryway door and sees the very young man who attacked those 2 men, Everyone in the room surely wonders if the police have finally arrived now. One of the robbers suddenly grabs Anha swiftly, while the others then start firing their weapons relentlessly. The young man quickly starts moving through the room here, dodging the bullets now with incredible agility, jumping right off the floor and swiftly onto the walls, almost as if it were indeed an everyday thing at all. With both his feet, he forcefully pushes off hard, grabs one of the robbers firmly by the arm then, uses him to strike the others now. His own assistant warns him that all of them are wearing quite bulletproof vests. Grabbing a gun then, Nick Hanging begins to fire freely now. Shocked, everyone silently watches on closely, and murmurs now that the young man's speed and immense strength are quite inhuman. The Eye quickly informs him that his friend is no longer in the room here. One of the hostages then explains that she was taken quickly, along indeed with another foreign woman right now. The young man boldly orders everyone to quickly go down the stairs, find Li Tao specifically on the 5th floor now, and then head promptly to the 2nd floor looking for a good hiding spot. The leader moves along with the remaining henchmen, says he doesn't really think the young man is a police officer then. One of them asks aloud why they are taking the actress along, since she simply won't stop talking at all. The leader replies coolly that if the police chase them hard, they can just casually throw her completely away. But for now at least, she is quite useful though. Panicked fully, the young woman pleads urgently for them to stop, speaking frantically in a language she simply doesn't understand. Suddenly now, the door bursts dramatically open as the young man from the future storms right in. Two of the robbers quickly start running directly toward him there, urging the fearful leader now to leave quickly. First, he activates the fierce combat mode provided by the AI instead. The skilled young man flips gracefully midair, striking the enemies precisely from behind with a powerful weapon. Furious and enraged, another robber then starts shooting widely. But still, none of the fired bullets hit the young man. He starts shouting his friend's name now as she is held hostage there. Understanding the plan, she quickly ducks, and the shots hit the robber instead now, who falls hard to the ground, screaming aloud in pain now. The leader is still holding Scarlet quite tightly now, prepares to fire quickly, while the woman struggles hard to free herself from his firm grip. However, changing his mind quickly, the man points the revolver directly at her face now, and orders the young man clearly to stay put there, unless he wants her truly to be shot now. Outside the building, the police manage swiftly to deactivate the bomb there, clearing access immediately to the 1st floor there. Opening one of the doors, a hostage emerges along with several other people, all with their hands raised high above. A panicked woman explains the terrorists invaded the cafe and took everyone hostage completely. But someone even more terrifying than the robbers has appeared here, and not only dodged every single bullet clearly, but also utterly defeated the men in a mere blink of an eye there. Other people now step forward right now, and start declaring that this young man truly is a hero indeed. Surprised now, the officer asks if they are so sure about what they saw beside him so near. His colleague then remarks that it seems like everyone standing there is hallucinating now. Concerned deeply, the captain warns that the gang could have used chemical weapons perhaps. So, the team must immediately put on gas masks surely. Inside now, with absolutely no way out now. The young man obeys this robber now and drops his weapon quick, even surprising the AI deeply embedded in his body system. Angry now, the leader demands to know exactly how this young man got there precisely, when he himself had received firm information that everything was truly fine there. On the other floors here, lifting his very own shirt indeed, the young man reveals keenly that he does indeed have the radios right there, informing their leader precisely that the very person he had truly been talking to really is him. Furious now, the robber quickly starts firing straight in his direction now, but using just a utensil only. The young man swiftly dodges all the bullets, then throws a knife at the man, hitting him directly. Scarlet breaks totally free now, and the young man firmly instructs both women to use him as their shield now, and start backing away very slowly, taking off his outer coat. The gang leader menacingly asks where Nakagan came from and his name. With a dark, intense expression, the young man says he'll say it just once, so the man should indeed listen very carefully now. Then, during a particularly rapid sequence of fierce strikes, he spells every single letter of his own name precisely. On the cold ground, mouth simply agape in shock, the stunned robber is seemingly left completely speechless. John, Giant urgently alerts that one hostage has a gunshot wound, now on her arm, and needs absolutely immediate help promptly. The restaurant's own chef then appears, now holding a first aid kit, explaining calmly that he was guarding the kitchen very closely, as it was truly his sole responsibility completely. Approaching the resolute young man directly, begins methodically gathering needed items to treat Scarlet's arm wound well. The AI confidently informs him that the injury is thankfully not too severe indeed, so it will definitely be easy to handle now. Finishing quickly too, the young man advises the woman now to go to the hospital, as soon as she leaves for proper medical treatment now. Smiling brightly, she thanks him kindly for his help, while the young man's friend seems quite surprised that she speaks Korean, explaining herself. Kelly then says that her grandmother was Korean, irritated and confused, tries hard to understand the situation, while the woman then states that the young man must be a government agent, sent here to protect her responding. He simply says he is just a local food truck worker indeed. On the stairs quickly now. The special forces rush up the steps swiftly, finding the president safe on the 5th floor there, armed and wearing a vest protectively. The agent starts shouting loudly, demanding urgently to know exactly who he is now. Happy and relieved, the man celebrates and says they have finally arrived. Thinking mistakenly he is a robber, the squad advances quickly, ordering him sternly to drop his weapons now. Lee To reveals his true identity, and things finally calm down now. Allowing the police to, they shift their immediate focus to the terrorists on the ground there. The man fully explains just what happened there, and he says clearly that he truly was not the one who took down the robbers. But then, suddenly now, the officers start quickly shouting now about the traps near the wall corner, taking out just one of the bombs. The man there in the brown suit informs them calmly that all of them have been fully deactivated. Reaching up to the 7th floor now, the squad quickly finds Chef Ju Chol himself, who laughs out as he formally introduces himself. Then, he says clearly that everyone there is indeed safe, and moreover that the injured person has already received some first aid. Shai Yunho happily waves both her arms, quite happy now at the officer's arrival. The police promptly shift their full attention to the tied-up and fully unconscious robbers there, smiling now. The young actress then comments that the entire gang right inside the building has truly been properly neutralized now, leaving the officers clearly embarrassed for having been simply too afraid to enter earlier on. Outside now, the captain warns then that there may be robbers disguised as civilians here, so everyone must surely be carefully checked from now. In the white van now, one of the men is relieved now. Thanks the young man, saying that thanks to him now, a much greater disaster was avoided overall, and that even the actual leader of the entire operation was identified too. The man is Shackle, a truly international criminal involved in terrorism, robbery and kidnapping cases for ransom clearly, and he's wanted even by Interpol itself now. Nakagan asks now about the other members of the whole gang there, stating clearly that they seem like mercenaries indeed. Surprised now, the officer says he is completely right. All of them were hired guns definitely now. Fluent Korean analyzing all of the information here. The young man says now that if that's truly the case, someone must surely have lured Scarlet there quickly, and the officer then confirms this point now, adding also that now the American police will take over the case entirely. Curious indeed. The officer asks just why the young man fought all the enemies alone there. In response, he simply says it was the right thing to do truly. Laughing lightly, the officer says it's not that simple now, especially since none of the robbers suffered serious injuries at all, even after being shot while trying to get answers there. The officer says then, he couldn't find any records of the young man in the military service. John Jian, trying to help him, shows Nakang's name on a list too, full of excuses for getting out of that very situation. So the young man replies that he was off the grid entirely for 2 years, because he was training in complete isolation in the mountains high. Expanding more on the lie now, he says he spent 7 days fasting right under a waterfall. Then he wandered through the entire vast area while consistently training, surviving on wild ginseng whenever he got quite hungry then. From all this, he created his own new martial art, incorporating weapon techniques using simple toy guns maybe. His unique martial art is proudly called Gun Fist instead, and through its dedicated practice, he fully reached true perfection, allowing him completely to do everything indeed. The man beside him listens intently with his mouth hanging wide open. Now at the hospital, 2 doctors examine Scarlet's arm wound and are quite shocked now, because the stitching pattern truly is identical to that of another patient. They are trying intently to find out who did it. One of the men urgently asks who performed the stitching exactly, but the woman questions sharply why that even matters, then stating clearly that she simply cannot disclose that information. The doctor insists quickly, and Jessica jumps right into the discussion, shouting loudly that they were attacked brutally by terrorists, so they simply can't reveal anything else at all. Now going to the chief surgeon's office, Lee Jung-ho, the doctor says he has truly good news now. Then he explains further that he has found the very person who stitched another patient's womb, just as if they had remarkably used a sewing machine. In total shock, the chief urgently asks for the person's name, and the doctor replies quickly that he still doesn't exactly know, but that a victim with identical stitches was treated very recently indeed. The man asks directly why he let her leave now, and if they were at the very least able to then get more vital information from the police. However, the doctor sadly replies that even the police themselves don't know who it was. At the station, someone hands over an envelope to Park Ki-jun here, saying simply that only one person has actually been authorized to review all the documents inside now. In response to this, the man quickly says this is just a mere excuse to make him do all of the work completely alone. The other man then firmly says he is only handing over the crucial papers now because he is clearly trusted. Opening up the envelope and carefully reading each of the pages, Park Kyung looks both shocked and indeed curious now. The man right beside him urgently asks what exactly he saw. In response right now, he says that, as already stated, only one particular person can see and view it. But then explaining matters further, he says firmly that the actual hero of the terrorist incident is apparently the main stunt director of a movie starring Shai Eun-ha herself. And finally, The most truly shocking part is that they actually know him too. The team leader asks if that person is indeed some kind of criminal now. His subordinate quickly denies that notion and says that young man is the very same one who helped them in a prior incident with a dangerous criminal. Upon keenly hearing this important information, the leader is left completely shocked indeed, questioning how they should even refer to someone like him in such a large meeting taking place. Men in suits discuss at length the information the two officers uncovered, saying that even though the target of this investigation is Shakal now, they simply cannot ignore Nakagin at all, who truly handled everything all alone there, and has already heroically saved someone from a fierce burning building. While deftly walking on a thin rope, one of the men says he checked the young man's entire background now, because he even thought he was a part of a special forces unit indeed, discovering only that he was honorably discharged as a sergeant though, from a mere administrative unit there. Another man asks if that could possibly be a cover then, but the leader of the entire meeting questions why indeed the military would use a combat specialist as simply an administrative employee here. Joining this conversation, another officer then says that this young man had claimed he had been intensely training in the mountains for 2 full years. Confused now, the chief asks just why his subordinate is joking at a time like this. The same officer simply replies that he is not joking at all. 2 days now pass, and at this internet cafe, Shai Yonha arrives completely disguised right now. The ad quickly detects the young woman's distinct voice and duly informs the young man present. Turning to look closely, he asks her what she is doing there exactly. In response to this, the young woman asks if he could be a little kinder now. Then she hands over to him a bag there. The actress explains that since they didn't actually get to eat last time, she's brought some ingredients so he could now cook, and they could finally eat together at last. Turning his back sharply, the young man tells her coldly to leave now, but she firmly refuses, asking now for honesty instead. He says that only if she tells the real reason why she is here will he make the food completely. Absolutely embarrassed, the young woman says that being very near him makes her feel quite at peace, ignoring the deep revelation. The young man simply comments that she brought fresh ingredients, so he will prepare some exquisite seafood dishes sometime later on. The food looks ready, all gathered with a blonde cafe attendant there. They deeply observe just how delicious everything truly looks now. As she eats, the young actress even becomes rather emotional indeed. A clear voice suddenly asks if they can try a little too. Scarlet appears, genuinely surprising the trio with her presence now. Nakang asks her plainly how she found this specific place here. In quick response, the woman says she has good friends in Korea, so she simply searched only for his name and his workplace. Then, she boldly reveals that she wants to hire him as her bodyguard. The trusty AI informs him that if he accepts this great offer, he won't be able to fully engage in some other activities. Thus he firmly declines, relieving the woman's security guards immediately. Insisting, Scarlet says he would receive a good salary, with many benefits as well, but he replies that he truly doesn't need anything for now. Convinced already, the woman says that if that's the actual case, she will just buy something quite nice to eat before leaving. After eating that food, she's in utter disbelief at how good the meal tastes indeed. Standing up straight, she thanks the young man and says she is leaving now quickly, as she does have a trip to soon take. But before even that, she also wants to truly know if he would be very interested in working as a part-time skilled chef at a party that she is currently hosting soon. Following strictly John Jian's wise advice, the young man calmly takes the woman's contact card right now, looking sharply at Shin Eunha, who is now visibly jealous for sure. The red-haired woman now distinctly remembers exactly who she is fully. She had kindly asked the young woman to clearly remember her then, because she is truly the ultra-beautiful famous actress from Sunny Day's show. In the moving car, Jessica asks Scarlet smoothly if everything surely went well then. In quick response, she simply says that everything went exactly as perfectly planned, clearly seeing the true happiness on her boss's lovely face so brightly. The attentive secretary then asks what the true reason for her current joy even is tonight. Smiling brightly, the woman says she managed to discover some key new information, because Make Hanging has turned out to be an incredibly skilled cook, and so she will get to see him again very soon now.